We are now live as opposed to dead.
Are we alive? Are we alive?
Probably.
Probably. Let me check. It seems like we are alive. Yeah, it seems I'm alive as well.
What is your evidence?
Your Honor, my evidence is my pulse. My heart is beating, so I should be alive.
The prosecution rests.
But yeah, hello everybody. I'm Takeshy, and I am here with Chris Kroll.
Whom you heard from me earlier.
And he is alive as well.
And today we're watching Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney.
Not really. We are watching Phoenix Wright versus
So you
Mighty
had
Tony.
an objection to my statement?
I mean, to says you might be right because I forgot his name already, but the detective in this case is actually Mr. Professor Layton. So it really is gonna be Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright in a sense.
Well, they sure do like to point.
They do. Just one of them points as evidence, the other one points as puzzles.
I accuse that thing over there!
The sound is just like him. So we need a little bit of recap. Let me just check if so playback speed is normal. And this is gonna be a 2-hour long episode. Which, knowing the record, is gonna be a much longer one. So I guess we should just get back to it. And actually left and speedy man. And that's from the title, it seems like it's gonna be a recap. So let's just do it.
Go for it.
Previously on Elements of Justice.
Let's see, sound level?
The source of the anonymous tip
That's
and
a
the
bit higher.
location of the remaining suit of armor. The
There you
one
go.
belonging to the victim that died at the statue. Sonata should be out investigating those things right now.
Miss Sweetieville has decided to exercise her right to remain silent.
You testified that you decided to move the body after you killed Royal Order, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Objection! The letter opener was not used to kill Royal Order. It's just a fabricated piece of evidence used to support Sugar Stamp's story. Her confession is a complete and utter fabrication in and of itself. One pony in particular would have had access to the scene, and by having access, they would have had the chance to bring the helmet there to plant it, all in order to support Sugar Stamp's testimony. Private Eye!
Gah!
Yeah!
Private Eye must have known of Sugar's guilt, but aside from her confession, he did not have the right amount of evidence to support it. He decided he would have to take matters into his own hooves.
It's true. I confess.
No more secrets. It's time we finally heard Sweetie's side of the story, and if she won't cooperate willingly...
Those who might recall,
I'll
it
make
seems
her.
that
The defense
Fair Devotion
would
is
like to step
masterminding
in for
everything.
Defending Sweetie Belle.
Yeah?
Athena,
You can't just step down now!
if Sweetie Belle is willing to testify, then I'll remain as her defense.
Fine! I'll do it! I'll testify. And hope you don't regret it.
And this is where we left off. Remember when I said that I have a very serious, stupid idea of what might have happened?
Yeah, laid on. Laid on thick.
It is gonna be thick. So, we established that there was only one body that they have found. They assumed that it's 2 killings because of the blood. I assume that the one they found is a copy. They are really all listening to Fair Devotion. For some stupid reason. She is the mastermind behind this. What if not only the mirror pool is in play? What if there is a disguise in play? What if this fan emotion is not fan emotion at all? What if it's the victim disguised as fan emotion?
Are you suggesting she's a changeling?
No, it doesn't have to be a changeling. But they are literally want the real killer to assume that he is dead. And we are all just playing the part that, oh yeah, I killed him, yeah. You can accuse me that I am the killer. I am actually the one who died. Assumedly.
I just noticed that Sugar Stamp has little freckles.
Yeah. Normally,
It's like she spilled white powder on her face while chewing in a donut or something.
no, those are just natural freckles. But I 100% believe that she did not kill any pony. And she knows something that she's hiding. And just following fan emotion's orders.
I'm pretty confident that Sweetie's innocent too, of everything except maybe lying. Now the lying's occurring mostly between these three. So far, Sweetie Belle's been holding silent, and I don't know if you want to call that a lie, but not being very forthcoming with the truth either.
In Applejack's case, he said that, yeah, not saying anything is not lying, but withholding information is also a form of lying as well.
Oh man. You know, something else has just occurred to me.
Yes?
When jeez, I forget her name, Miss Pixie or something, had threatened to step down for defending Sweetie Belle. In the background, Rarity's there, observing all this. I think she would freak out and not be silent at that point.
I can imagine, like Applejack having clarity by the mouth and...
Unless Rarity fainted. Now, that's another scenario, which is a little more silent.
You know what? I would actually believe not only Rarity, but even Scootaloo and Rainbow Dash being not silent about that.
I'm not sure if Rainbow's there.
She's right there behind Sugar Stamp, I think.
Okay. Yeah, the rest of the Crusaders should have been raising objections too.
Maybe when we move, we can actually see. Ah, yeah, that's it.
Instead of that, they're not moving or blinking. It's as if there are cardboard cutouts in the background. You're right. There is Rainbow Dash.
Maybe Fluttershy is yelling, we just can't hear it because she's loud. But yeah, let's hear what Cinema has to say, because there is a lot of fake evidence. We have to actually hear a true story this time. Maybe
Perhaps.
someone who is not lying.
I'm guessing that Sweetie Belle's been less coached in, just in case you have to talk, here's a lie that I want you to say.
I would have believed that Lula was the one who told her.
There was definitely an opportunity to coach her in that lie before. This team, the Phoenix Wright team, had a severely delayed chance to finally access her until really near the end of the day. There was so much time before that where even Fair Devotion had a chance to talk with her.
Yeah.
Along with Turning Page. So, yeah, there's plenty of ponies there to say, tell her what to say or what not to say. So that's something else you have to keep in mind. In the last episode, you remember Phoenix Wright himself interrogating Sweetie Belle at the detention center,
Yeah.
where there was 3 hearts locked and chained things, and He broke through all of them, but she still wouldn't talk.
Yeah, and let's say because they usually talk. There was only one person who didn't speak in the games after making dialogues.
And while that was happening, Sonata, who was also there, made the offhand comment that I remember when he did that to me.
And I actually showed you on Discord who it reminds me of, and who it reminds Felix of from the game. It's a straight up comparison.
Ready when you are.
It's the other second day of the trial.
Athena, what the heck was that? Yeah, threatening to step down as Sweetie Belle's lawyer? You must have scared her half to death.
That was the point!
Yeah, I probably
Because
did.
otherwise
But I
they
had
wouldn't
to.
have spoken.
Sweetie Belle wasn't going to talk unless she was backed into a corner.
It's true. She was awfully determined to keep things to herself. Again.
Yeah, again. What's her angle here?
Let me move the
I'm
microphone
wondering
closer,
if
by
that
the
was
way.
connected to how she was behaving
There we go.
earlier today.
Earlier today? You mean before the trial?
Yeah, and how nonchalant she was. Since Athena managed to surprise her, I think she must have been counting on not being asked to testify.
Even so, don't you think it was going way too far making that threat?
No?
Truthfully, Trucy, I didn't like doing it either. But Sweetie Belle left us no choice.
Agreed. I didn't like making Sweetie Belle feel that way either. But she's
Whoever
definitely
taught
up
her to
something.
stay silent,
We can't
they
save her if
definitely
she isn't
reassured
willing to
her that
speak.
if you just stay
Especially her
silent,
not
everything
saying
is gonna be
anything only
fine.
implicates her even further.
Yeah, I know. I guess it just threw me for a loop.
Yeah, me too. Rarity didn't take it very well either. I'm surprised she isn't here
She
right
seemed
now.
perfectly fine in the
I
background.
can't really say I blame her. Athena just put her own sister's life on the line.
Rarity and Trucy weren't the only ones thrown for a loop, though. Prosecutor Luna was as well, and for some reason, so were Miss Devotion and Miss Stamp. Could that mean...
Sounds like you finally noticed it, boss.
Yeah, they are all in together.
Trucy, did you find it odd how fair Devotion was acting? The way she handled Sugar Stamp and Private Eye? She managed to explain away the contradictions in both their testimonies. And not only that, the two of them went along with it.
Daddy! You're not saying...
The editor is saying what made me think of Father Motion being actually the victim.
They're all in cahoots with each other, but Sonata is not. And I remember that in the end of some other episode, I guess before last, she had approached Sonata for something, and I don't remember if anything about that was revealed yet, but if not, that's still a card she has keeping in her pocket here.
Yeah,
Athena, that is.
there are two police who are not in cahoots with them. One of them is Sonata, the other one is Equity, who we have not seen too much of.
And well, there's plenty of other ponies I would say that's innocent too. Like say Twilight Affair is definitely in the dark.
I mean, yeah, Twilight comes after dusk.
This is exactly why I didn't do as Luna suggested and go after Fair Devotion. Fair's been planning some kind of story, I think, from the very beginning.
Yep.
And those two, Sugar Stamp and Private Eye, somehow they're also a part of it. Probably as collaborators.
What do you mean a story? Fair and Sugar are caught up in a love triangle over royal order, aren't they?
That's certainly what the evidence suggests, but I'm not so sure about that anymore, Trucy. Think about it. If the writing in the journal is fake, then who's to say the love letter isn't as well?
But why would you think that?
Yeah, I mean, it could be written by Sugarstamp, but does she really have feelings for him in that way?
Given the fact that those evidences are now in doubt, we are being really blind
Yeah.
to Royal Order's perspective. By the way, what if he's not the one that made the clone? Because if now we're doubting the letter, there's a bunch of things that comes into question.
Yeah, we are almost back at where we started. All we know that there is blood at the scene.
Well, they do seem to have one corpse of Royal Order in the forensics lab, and that's probably verified by more than just Private Eye.
I
I
mean,
still can't be certain he's the one that has the clone, though, because if not, however, then Royal really is dead, or something that appears to be his body.
yeah, it's either a clone of his or himself. But I am still on the case that he is probably not dead. It's just a clone.
Yeah, I get the
Because of what I've
feeling
been
a lot of this has to do with equity in terms of motivation. I don't completely understand why, but I do see from equity's perspective, he's in the way of a potential promotion.
I mean, we don't know. I call that equity is gonna be a red herring.
Okay.
They introduce her to me. Ah, yeah, she's here, and people are gonna think that she's the killer, and she had nothing to do with the case. Ha! Now she has something to do with it, but we know that Luna, Federation, Sugarstamp, and Private Eye are both all on the thing together. They know something.
Probably Sweetie too.
Sweetie probably doesn't know anything. She was just reassured that, yeah, you don't have to say anything.
Well, she witnessed something, and that's what she's staying silent about. Um, and then told to stay silent about that.
What if you are right on what you were jokingly saying that? What if the victim is a changeling, and that's why she's staying silent? Because he definitely hit his head. That's
I
what.
think they revert to their true form if they're killed. However, I doubt this is the case here, but let me just put this forward. A changeling could also disguise themselves as a corpse without actually being one.
Oh.
If they could turn into a rock, then they can turn into other kinds of inanimate objects, including a corpse.
We are really going in deep into this now.
Yeah.
We are going far away. I would love if that was the case.
I don't believe it either, actually. I just kind of think the story's not going to go that elaborate.
Yeah, but that would be a reason why Sweetie Bat is not saying anything if the cross was changing.
I see no reason why a changeling would be interested in this case right now. From their perspective, what would they gain from it? This is. Did we confirm this is in season 4? So they would not be reformed right now.
Don't seem wait. When did the castle start? The castle of friendship?
The what?
The castle, the castle of Twilight.
That was season 4. She got her castle exactly at the end of season 4.
Yeah, it's right after season 4, probably. I mean, wait, was it 2 years after? No.
I have to say, changelings would make excellent spies, but I don't see why any of them would work with the equestrian government right now.
Oh. But you might guess why they would want to say hush hush about a changeling being almost promoted to guardian.
I did notice though
Captain.
that Fair Devotion's aura color was green, which
Yes.
matches Chrysalis.
He says in the killer. Some of that.
Chrysalis failed to impersonate Cadence's aura color. I think, though, that some of her other agents successfully disguise their aura color, unless one of the changelings really does have a purplish aura color when disguising as Twilight.
Now I really do hope that there's gonna be changing in this case.
That would make it interesting, sure.
But yeah, let's see what Sweetie is gonna say.
Hearing.
Actually, right now we're seeing what they're saying.
Certainly act like two scorned lovers, but the emotions in their voices don't match what they're saying. In fact, their outbursts are completely emotionless, almost as if
They don't have any real investment in what they're saying?
No,
Exactly.
they are just playing
that
it.
led me to believe Sugarstamp's confession was most definitely a lie. One that someone supported by planting that letter opener.
And your main suspect was Private Eye, seeing as how he was the lead investigator.
We have all the process sure that the letter opener is a fake one.
Didn't want to believe it, but it made the most sense. He was also friends with Royal Order, so he may have a personal stake in this as well. Anyway, if Sugar's lying about killing him, she must also be lying about why she killed him. Coupled with a lack of emotions regarding the subject, the affair is also likely to be a lie.
One that Fair Devotion, Sugarstamp, and Private Eye must all be aware of. That's why you insisted we go down this route, isn't it?
It started as a hunch, but yeah, it looks like everyone's lying to us. Sweetie Belle included for some reason.
It's
They
a
must be lying for more
conspiracy.
than just trying to land Sugarstamp in prison. So what's their end game?
What indeed?
Hello, everyone.
Oh, hi, Sonata.
Oh? You all seem lost in thought.
We need an
Isn't
extra
now a
on the
bad
outro
time?
party. So,
Actually, we're in recess right now, so you couldn't have picked a better time.
perfect timing.
How was your investigation?
It was quite productive. I managed to acquire the information you asked for, Athena.
Really? That's great! Let's see what you've got.
First, I
Take
managed to
that.
test the blood that Apollo Trucy
What?
What if that's what Sonata said? Take that!
Take that!
and I found on the trees the other day. As was expected, it belonged to Royal Order.
Yeah, we assume that.
Morva's blood, huh? Should have seen that coming.
But what was it doing on the trees, though? And how did it get there? I don't recall seeing any blood on the forest floor.
I'm still not sure of that
It's a
myself.
flying blood.
The answer may come about during the rest of the
The
trial.
forest just makes a regular habit of
Agreed.
bleeding on itself.
What else have you got?
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to determine the exact source of the anonymous tip, but I was able to verify which magazine was used to make it.
And
Okay.
that would be...
The one you found in Diamond Tiara's bedroom, Mr. Wright. It had letters cut out of it that matched the ones on the anonymous tip. I even managed to take a better quality photo of the magazine before removing it for examination.
Taunting him.
There's a letter there as well. I already seen that there's a letter there. We have to see.
can afford a higher quality camera.
Perhaps you should learn to invest a bit more wisely then?
Don't bother, Sonata. Daddy would just be confused anyway.
February 14.
What's all this stuff underneath them?
It's a love letter.
It's My Little Pony magazine is what it is.
I mean, wait. It makes sense. It's hard to Homestead. Why wouldn't that be a letter of Formula 14?
Sure. But
What's
the
wrong?
reaction is to throw it in the trash. Or at least the envelope, what was inside of it, might still be in their possession.
Yeah, and this is right after killing. Right after they left the trial.
Yep.
The magazine.
If the
I
date's
noticed
correct.
that as well. After I took that picture, I did some digging and determined that's a couple of Hearts and Hooves Day envelopes.
Multiple
They were
of them.
most likely thrown away after Ms. Tiara opened them.
Digging in a literal sense? I see you've also taken up the habit of sifting through trash, huh, Sonata?
Really, Mr. Wright? You and I both know this was part of an intense investigation. It's not sifting through trash, it's sifting through evidence.
But the fact that the magazine cutouts match the tip, does that mean Diamond Tiara is the one who actually sent it?
Or somebody
I'm
in
not
the
so
house
sure of that, Princess Twilight. Still, it would be worth verifying for ourselves, which is why after I was done investigating, I asked her and Silver Spoon to come and wait in the lobby.
That sounds like a good idea. Thank you, Sonata. What else were you able to uncover?
You remember the remaining suit of armor? I managed to find it.
Oh, that was
You
a
mean
suit of
the
armor.
one that the clone Scootaloo crashed into would have been wearing?
Precisely. I found it deep in the Everfree forest. It had been chewed apart by timber wolves and was missing its helmet. In addition, I noticed that the left side of the body plate had a particularly ugly dent in it.
We know where it is from. It is from Sweetie Man. Hitting the armor.
Or Scootaloo's handle of a scooter?
No, we established that in the detention center, but that Sweetie Man was using the armor to make a loud noise to make the Timber turn away.
Any idea as to what made it?
Based on
Also,
how it was
where did you
dented
find it?
and the shape
What?
Where did she find it? That could be important too.
Deep inside the forest.
of the impression left over, I'd say some kind of long wedged object.
A long wedged object?
You managed to uncover quite a bit, Sonata. It must have taken you some time.
Actually, that's the thing, Princess Twilight. It really didn't. I managed to uncover everything just this morning, while the trial was happening.
Well, maybe you're just really good at getting the job done.
You think so?
Or someone's bad at hiding evidence.
Well, perhaps. But that does make me wonder.
Wonder what?
I was able to uncover all of this rather easily, without having to jump through a bunch of hoops and hurdles. So how come the investigation team managed to miss the blood and the armor entirely?
It was because of Private Eye.
What? Private Eye? I see. But that doesn't seem like him to do that. Not even if he believed, truly, that Sugarstamp was the killer.
No, the only reason why he would do that if he knew that his friend is not dead. And they are luring out a potential killer. And that is this whole case about. To lure out equity or someone higher up.
That's a possibility.
Someone even higher up. Who might be someone even higher up? It's Celestial!
Have you worked with him before?
Yes, on a number of occasions. But that's neither here nor there at the moment.
Yeah,
The point is, I
bus.
trust him. I can't
The
imagine
wheels need
he'd
to be
do
checked
something-
because, especially the suspension, after the sheer number of ponies that's been thrown under it.
Also, can we talk about how much perjury was in this case? That's a serious crime in the trial. In the normal trial. Lying in court. I mean, I think they never did swear upon anything that they are not gonna lie. So that's a loophole.
Thing like that without a good reason.
But he's already admitted to forging evidence, so we know that he managed to manipulate the investigation to stay away from those other areas for some reason. If it isn't for what we uncovered, then I don't know what else.
Pardon me for my intrusion, but I must admit my own confusion.
What? Zipporah?
Oh, yes. That was another thing Athena asked me to do. Bring Zipporah along.
Right. Thank you for
She's
coming,
fine.
Zipporah. I just have a few last-minute questions that I need you to answer.
I can actually believe what they are saying that, are you sure you didn't kill any of him? Any comment of him?
I just want to make really, really sure.
If aid from me is what you desire, then by all means, you may inquire.
Sonata, could you show her that photo? The one with the boulder outside of the mirror pool?
Here it is.
Zipporah, this photo shows the boulder that was placed outside of the mirror pool. There are a couple of flowers all over it. Can you tell me what they are?
Of their identity, I have no doubt. These are day bloomers with petals out.
Day bloomers.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Oh. In the fake notepad what Private Eye was forging. He was gonna go down there at night to make a copy of himself. But if the model was moved during the day, and the pattern was still blooming, then it places the killing a lot earlier than we actually think it was.
Okay, but the fiasco with Diamond Tiara, Silver Spoon, Scootaloo, all that really did occur at the night.
Yeah, but who might know that if he might have been dead by that time?
That's, yeah, possibly. And it's no one trustworthy has directly seen him except maybe the forensics team.
Yeah, and the body is still in the forensics team and they are still making a check. And I don't know if they are known about how to identify how long a pony has been dead for.
Do you remember me telling you that how messed up this case can be if one of the investigators was the culprit?
Yeah. And it seems like that it's gonna be something like that. He might not be the culprit, but he definitely helped the culprit. Or helped pushing the case.
As far as the background's concerned, you can see how proud the mayor is to, like, that she's shaking the hoof of Celeste. She's like, see, I told you I knew her.
Yeah, I can imagine the museum pony who took a photo with Celestia laying down on her.
I bribed her with cake to come here.
It's cupcakes?
Sonata, do you have that other photo I requested?
Other photo?
Yes. Here you are, Athena.
Oh yeah, the poster is missing.
Athena? That's just a photo of inside Zipporah's home. I'm pretty sure she recognized that.
It's not the inside of the hut I'm interested in, actually. It's the healing potion inside that was stolen. First, I want to reaffirm that the potion was stored in the floor shelf, right?
Yes, that is where it was always stored, just above the hut's floorboard.
And this potion, is it difficult to make?
Even with my skill, it requires some time. The components are not simply found for a dime. There's also a considerable time to brew. It can take upwards of a full month or two.
Okay.
Do you just make these kinds of potions for yourself?
Thanks to their rarity, the demand is quite high. This one the local hospital will always buy. Its potency proves to be worth the price, when normal treatments won't suffice.
Local hospital. That must mean Ponyville General Hospital.
That answers everything I had for now. Thanks again, Sakura. Could you actually stick around before the trial begins? I might want to ask a few more things.
Of course, I'll gladly spare my time, if it will help solve this awful crime.
I know you didn't ask this of me, Athena, but I'd also gone to check up on the Carousel Boutique break-in.
Oh,
Because I had
good
so much extra
thinking.
time.
Did you find anything new?
Unfortunately, no. The investigators are still looking for anything that might have been taken, but so far they've found nothing. Rarity, as you can understand, is still quite upset.
Not even Opal? They did not find the white cat?
Yeah, I can't
If
imagine.
Opal was missing,
Although,
Rarity should be freaking out
if
more.
nothing's missing,
Oh, they found nothing missing. They didn't find nothing.
Yeah,
could that mean
they
that
enter the
if
boutique and it's
anything
just a
was
pure
stolen
void.
at all, it was something no one would even notice in the first place?
Miss Sykes?
Turning page.
You're suddenly here.
I'm
You
surprised to
teleported
see
here.
you. What brings you to the courthouse?
What brings you to the courthouse?
Oh,
my mom is here.
Wow. This could be important if his mother's not here.
I mean, she was here.
Yeah, but I mean in this room. She kept on coaching him to stay silent, but he wanted to say something. If he is here and she's not, then he might admit something important.
Yeah, he already went against her ruling before. That's why he was in the forest to begin with.
Let's see what he has to say.
I just wanted to say good luck. We're all counting on you to free Miss Sweetie Belle.
I know, Turning. So long as Sweetie Belle cooperates with us, we'll be able to succeed.
I also wanted to see Scootaloo again, to check how she's feeling.
She's right there.
Oh, I'm doing okay, Turning. I have faith that Athena and Twilight are gonna turn this trial around.
Yeah, me too.
Huh. There's something up with him. It's not just trial jitters. What could it be? Maybe... Hey, Turning.
He feels guilty about something.
Yes, Miss Sykes?
It's about your mother. Is she... okay?
Okay.
I mean, she's been acting a bit strangely all throughout this trial. You wouldn't happen to know why that is, would you?
Can I ask you to do something, Miss Sykes? Whatever happens in this trial, please help my mom, no matter the cost.
What the... Help his mom? No matter what the cost? What could that mean? And why does it fill me with the most ominous sense of dread?
May I have your attention, please? The trial is about to reconvene. Defense, please return to the courtroom shortly.
Right.
He
We'd better
anticipates his mother's about to be in trouble soon.
Just a second. I want to ask...
I mean, it's never really the case to make her the killer.
She was one of the suspects. The other is Sugar Stump.
Yep. She was telling last time, like, oh, now you're gonna accuse me, right? Try to lead her.
Not
Athena.
quite accused, more like listen to my story, my testimony that has something to do with Sweetie Belle.
Yep.
And talk to me instead of Sweetie Belle.
Ask Sakura and Scootaloo one more thing.
Huh? What is it, Athena?
It just occurred to me. All throughout this trial, we've been hearing about these clanging noises. But Scootaloo, during your testimony yesterday, you never mentioned anything about them. Did you hear anything of that sort that night?
Yeah, actually. I heard one when I was just passing by Sakura's house.
Yeah,
And
too.
then one more just before I crashed into Royal Order.
So you heard two? And Sakura, you still maintain you heard just the one?
I am quite sure of that amount. No other clangs I can recount.
Defense! You need to head inside.
Just one more question. Scootaloo, that first clang you heard, did it differ in any way from the second one?
I guess a little? Like, the first one was much louder than the other one. They were both metallic sounding.
Louder, huh? Then that would mean...
Speaking of crashing into Royal Order, I'm not sure what it means, but you said he was wearing armor?
He should have been, yeah. That's
But
what
he
Sweetie used to
wasn't.
scare away the Timberwolves.
But he wasn't
Yeah.
wearing any armor when I crashed into him.
He wasn't? But then how?
Defense!
Athena, we need to get going.
Right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you after the trial.
Maybe the clothes don't get their armor copied.
Banging sound at Sakura's place might have revolved around the theft.
Court is back in session for the trial of Miss Sweetie Belle. I trust that the defendant is ready to testify.
Yes, Your Honor.
Before we begin, I would like to
If
ask
I
if
must.
either the prosecution
What?
Basically, that's what she probably was saying. If I must.
Yeah, if I was. I mean, you was. If you want Athena to say.
or defense have any final objections to the matter. Prosecutor Luna, what say you?
Having Sweetie Belle testify must have thrown her entire plan for a loop.
Prosecutor Luna? You appear somewhat hesitant.
Those eyes of yours have not dwindled with age, Your Honor. To be perfectly frank, I am a bit hesitant. I cannot foresee where exactly this testimony will lead us.
Prosecutor Luna?
Yes, Miss Sykes?
Do you remember what you told me last night?
I trust you.
I believe you must, if nothing else, trust that in the end, the truth will be found. Never mind what the lawkeeper has said.
I know, but it's hard sometimes. Like stumbling around in the dark hoping you'll find a light switch. Except you don't know if the room you're in even has one.
Trust is a leap of faith, Athena. That's all it ever is. I do, yes.
You trusted me back then, asked me to find the truth in any way I can. Please, trust me now.
I shall then, Miss Sykes.
I'd ask you to trust me as well, Sweetie Belle, but I somehow doubt you will.
Your Honor, the prosecution is ready to hear the witness's testimony.
As is the defense.
Very well.
I think the view was.
Witness, you will testify to the court as to your movements on the night of the murder.
And no lie.
There isn't really a lot to say. That night, I was at the statue of Nightmare Moon. Not long after I'd arrived, I saw Timberwolves approaching the area. One of them attacked me! I managed to scare it off, and afterwards, I hid behind the statue. I was there for a long time.
Wait. We don't remember any kind of footprints, though.
Referring to that little picture above?
Yeah.
And afterwards,
Go ahead and back
I
up
hid
to it if you
behind the
want to.
statue.
We don't remember any of that footprints. Did you sweep it up, Sweetie Man?
Perhaps, but if your testimony is correct, I can see why it's there now. She caused it with her own hoofprints because she was in a pool of blood. That's if you go with her story.
But why was there a pool of blood there to begin with? Right?
Yeah,
I was there for a long time. I don't really remember for how long exactly. It's all a bit of a blur. After a while, I left the statue seeing that no one was around. I made myself a tourniquet and went to Zecora's hut to look for a healing potion.
Wait a moment! You mean to say you were almost killed that night by wild timberwolves?
Yeah.
I mean, you were the ever forest, what did you expect?
My word! I knew those animals were brutes, but I never imagined they'd go so far as to attack a random filly.
Why would
There
timberwolves
could be
care?
a place so full of danger in this world, let alone one so close to somewhere as idyllic as Ponyville.
That's why I'll take my family here next year.
What's up with Prosecutor Luna?
It is indeed fortunate that the bell did not toll for thee, young one.
In any case, I believe we may now begin the cross-examination. Defense, are you ready?
You bet, Your Honor.
Is still not saying everything.
She's saying what little she's been coached to say so far.
That night, I was at the statue of Nightmare Moon.
Why were you in the Everfree Forest in the first place? And why the statue?
Do I really have to say it?
Yes?
Yes, you do.
Fine. It was because I found Scootaloo's note in Carousel Boutique.
Scootaloo's note?
This one, Your Honor. It's Scootaloo's confession to Rarity for taking a roll of golden silk in order to fulfill the blackmailer's demand.
After I'd found that note, I considered following her and turning into the forest to stop them.
And why was that?
To get back the roll of golden silk, obviously. The thing cost Rarity a small fortune. And Scootaloo stole it right from under my nose. I didn't want Rarity to find out or she'd totally freak. And I didn't want Scootaloo to do anything dumb. Or anything more dumb than stealing from my sister.
But how did you end up at the statue?
Once I finally decided to go after them, I headed to
That's
the
a second
entrance.
theft.
As soon as
So Scootaloo steals the silk cloth, and now there's another attempt to steal something at Rarity's Boutique recently. This time during the trial.
Yeah. I mean, we assumed that it was Opal running around. At least I assumed. It was no
Keep an eye
theft.
on that part of the story, because something tried to steal from Rarity twice.
I got there, I heard a loud noise coming from within. I thought it might be her, so I cast an illumination spell and started heading towards it.
Could you describe this noise for us?
It was loud and metallic, like a clang.
One?
Cling?
That noise seems to be at the center of everything. Sakura and Diamond Tiara heard one, and Silver Spoon heard two.
And Diamond, I mean, Sweetie Man saying that she heard one before she went to the statue. So it sounds like someone met with the Timberwolves. Scared them away. Then she went there. Timberwolves came back. She scared them away as well. or something else might have happened before. The first,
Yeah, I doubt it's that simple.
the first might have been actually what is it called? A fan emotion is the mother, the victim, being keyed on the statue. That might be what she was hearing.
And Scootaloo heard two as well. This must have been one of them. And if one was quieter than the other... Sweetie Belle, around what time did you hear that cling?
Probably around 10:15. Yeah, that sounds right.
10:15. The same time that Zecora, Diamond Tiara, and Silver Spoon each heard one.
So that's what I hear.
Kicked Royal Order. If that confession wasn't a load of baloney, that is.
Let's get back to the testimony. Witness, what happened next?
Not long after I'd arrived, I saw Timberwolves approaching the area.
So the Timberwolves were in the area when you arrived at the statue and started to approach?
Yes, that's correct.
Did you see anything else near the statue besides those Timberwolves?
Yeah, actually. There was a big bloodstain out in front of the statue, and also a set of armor.
But not a body. Only blood and armor.
That armor, no doubt, must have belonged to the Royal Order whom Scootaloo crashed into, and who crawled to the statue afterwards.
Except she claims that that Royal Order wasn't wearing armor. So how did it get there?
And the blood stain?
Royal Orders, of course. The blood test proved that. Sweetie Belle, was there a body present when you saw all of this?
No, there wasn't a body.
That means the Timberwolves must have already eaten the body and were in the process of leaving when Sweetie Belle came along. Objection!
But that contradicts what Sugar Stamp said. She saw Sweetie Belle trip Royal Order. The body had not yet been eaten by Timberwolves.
However, as Fair Devotion suggested, it's possible Sugar Stamp was misremembering things that night. She might have been so traumatized that she only thought she saw Sweetie Belle trip him.
That still leaves Miss Devotion's testimony to contradict this one. Defense, tell me you have a plan for resolving that issue.
I do, of course. Just, don't expect it right now, okay?
In a real case, they would have been left out of the testimony, because they have been proven to be lying.
I have a lot of patience, Miss Sykes. You needn't worry.
The only way to resolve it is to disprove both Sugar's and Fair's entire testimonies, which have been definitive since they back each other up. But, in order to do that, I'll first have to break Sweetie Belle's testimony.
Witness, please continue.
One of them attacked me! I managed to scare it off, and afterwards, I hid behind the statue.
Were you injured by this attack?
A little bit. It scratched my right foreleg, enough for me to bleed a little.
Which accounts for the fact that the witness's blood was found at the scene.
How did you scare off the Timberwolf exactly?
It was simple, really. I used the armor to do it.
What do you mean?
Timberwolves don't like loud sounds. My friend Applebloom once told me about how her granny scared off a whole pack using nothing but a frying pan. I remembered that story and decided to do something similar with the armor. I took two pieces and hit them together as hard as I could.
Wait, what's this?
And scared them away.
She's striking the helmet to the armor?
That's what she's saying. The helmet was there. That's a new piece of information we didn't know.
Well, there's also the little hoof things. I think they're made of metal too, but they're lighter.
Yeah.
A rather ingenious spur-of-the-moment idea.
And around what time did you hit the armor pieces together?
I'm sure, to be honest.
Well, let's backtrack and see if we can figure it out. You heard the first clanging noise at 10:15, didn't you?
Yes, that's right.
And afterwards, you started heading towards where you thought it was coming from, the statue. How long did it take you to arrive?
Probably about 10 minutes?
Yeah, it's
Then
a
we
very
can reasonably
vague
assume that you arrived close to 10:25, if not on
time
it.
span.
You then hit the armor pieces together, maybe around the same time, eliciting a loud clanging sound. Does that sound about right, Sweetie Belle?
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
So one loud clang at 10:15, and the quieter one Sweetie caused at the statue around 10:25. And afterwards, you chose to hide behind the statue. Why did you do that?
It's because I thought I heard someone coming. And I was afraid it was more animals. More timberwolves, maybe? Or a manticore? Or something worse. So, I hid, using my magic to hide the blood trail that I left while walking behind the statue.
And what happened next?
Hear that, Takeshy?
Yes.
She claims she cleaned up some of the evidence right there.
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
And what happened next?
I was there for a long time. I don't really remember for how long exactly. It's all a bit of a blur.
Hold it! You don't remember how long you were back there?
No, not at all.
She seems awfully calm about this whole thing. You're sure? You never saw whoever was coming your way?
Nope. To be honest, I don't even fully remember what happened after. I think I must have passed out for a little while.
Considering that you had just been attacked and were suffering some blood loss, that would indeed appear to be plausible. We can't expect you to remember how long you were out if you were truly unconscious, after all.
And she's gonna say, oh, right, I remember dreaming about you.
So you were out for a time, and then you came to. When you did you happen to see if the armor and bloodstain were still in front of the statue?
No, they were gone.
They were gone? As in, they were just missing?
Yep, but I didn't really think about it. I just wanted to get out of there.
I understand, defendant. Let's return to when you came to, then. What did you do immediately afterwards?
After a while, I left the statue seeing that no one was around. I made myself a tourniquet and went to Zeccora's hut to look for a healing potion.
Objection! Sweetie Belle, you're saying you made yourself a tourniquet, then made your way to Zeccora's hut. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what happened.
I don't think so.
Not really.
What?
You made your tourniquet out of forest debris, and that, I'm afraid, would have been impossible for you.
Why?
Because, Your Honor, there's no blood leading from the back of the statue to the tree line.
What the?
You're right.
Oh, there's someone who was coming. Actually, put the target on Sweetie Belle. She met someone else.
Right. For Sweetie Belle to have gotten any materials to make a tourniquet, she'd have to grab stuff from the tree line. But that would mean she'd be dripping blood all over the place.
So, Sweetie Belle, how do you explain that?
That's easy! I used my magic to keep the blood from falling everywhere.
Yeah,
Used
sure.
your
Wow.
magic?
Okay.
Why?
What do you mean, why? I was bleeding!
Exactly. You were injured and bleeding. You just passed out and only had just awoken moments beforehand. Not the best condition to be using magic in. You'd probably be too rattled to be able to concentrate on making sure every drop of your blood didn't end up on the forest floor. So again, why would you bother trying?
Well, I I just used my magic to grab stuff from the tree line to make a tourniquet.
But that doesn't add up either, Sweetie Belle. You and I both know that your magic hasn't developed that much yet.
I can imagine Ethel just shouting inside, "Not look here, sugar, don't lie."
Yes, it has. I've been practicing outside of our lessons. You just haven't seen me.
Well,
Okay,
I
pause
can't
it.
deny that.
Alright. By this point of the trial, the
Yes.
episode Twilight Time has already occurred. That is in season 4.
Yes. I mean, we established that it is after season 4.
Yeah, but it's a little more specific in that timeline. There was plenty of episodes before Twilight Time. They have already occurred as well, if Twilight Time has definitely occurred by now. And it's true that her magic has been refining since then. In fact, that's kind of the first time she really used it. Except for the time her horn got discorded by a bunch of plants that was invading the city. Anyway, so suddenly she's claiming she's so good with her magic that she can reach into the forest, grab a tourniquet that way, and float it over to her. So have her prove it now.
Yeah.
I suppose.
See, no matter how you look at it, I made that tourniquet.
Oh?
She can't prove it because she has a magic happening on her horn. She can't use magic right now.
Athena's about to say what I just said.
If that's the case, then you should be able to recreate it for us right now.
Recreate it?
Defense, surely you're not asking the defendant to go back into the Everfree Forest just to grab a bunch of material? And surely you don't expect us to go in there with her?
Of course not, Your Honor. Besides, I already have some forest debris here. With the court's permission, I'd like to have Sweetie's magic nullifier removed.
Oh, okay.
So she can recreate for us the tourniquet she claims to have made.
Give me one of the magic nullifier.
Agreed.
And make it way far, like at the same distance the statue is to the forest floor.
Go on, Sweetie Belle. Give it a try.
Then that goes there.
You screwed up, Sweetie Belle. You turned off the lights.
You don't even know how to make a tourniquet.
That goes like that. I can't.
Wait, she didn't fail because she didn't reach it with her magic. She failed because she couldn't make a tourniquet.
Could be that too. She doesn't know how.
Yeah, but remember, magic is powerful enough to reach that far.
You know what? I kind of suspect one pony who does know make a tourniquet is Royal Order.
Yeah, that's what I assumed in the very beginning, that
Which
he was saved
he also
by
came
her
to collect
order.
his armor, by the way. It was right there. If it's true that it was there and then it was missing, the pony that was approaching, the reason she hid behind the statue, she was hiding from Royal Order. She may not have known that at first. But Royal Order somehow discovered her anyway, realized she's injured, and made a tourniquet for her.
You know what? By that time, he should have been dead.
Yep.
Well, give me a second, I'm gonna grab some tea. Hey, I'm here.
Welcome back.
In my headset back. Sorry about the noise. You are here as well, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I never left.
Okay. Just have to be sure.
Forgive me, witness. I believe I misheard you. Did you say you can't make a tourniquet?
She did, Your Honor.
Then how did she make one on the night she was attacked?
She didn't. Some pony else did.
But who?
It might have been that some pony whom Sweetie Belle heard just before she passed out behind the statue. Or maybe...
Miss Sweetie Belle?
I remember now. I didn't make a tourniquet. I just used a bunch of stuff I collected and pressed against my wound to stop it from bleeding.
No.
You pressed unsanitized forest debris against an open wound and trusted it that it would keep it sealed long enough for you to reach Sakura's hut?
Yeah, I mean, I knew that her hut was a little far, but I also knew that she had some healing potions I could use.
If you knew that, does that also mean you knew where exactly she stored them?
That's where the flu comes in.
Duh.
Then could you please show the court from which cupboard you took the healing potion?
Nice only two, it's 50-50%.
Here? This one?
Wrong choice.
I'm sorry, Sweetie Belle. That is incorrect.
It's incorrect? But how?
Because that night, Sweetie Belle was neither the one to make the tourniquet, nor the one to get the healing potion from Sakura. Some pony else did both.
But who? There was no one else at the statue.
I suspect Miss Sykes has been building up to this moment for quite some time. Well then, why don't you regale us? Who aided Miss Sweetie Belle in both of these endeavors?
The court wants an answer, so I'd better make this count. Let me think. The judge says no one else was at the statue besides Sweetie Belle. That much might be true. But there were other ponies in the forest that night. Given what we already know about this case, it stands to reason that her savior could be one of them. But it can't just be any of them. It'd have to be some pony who knows how to make a tourniquet and identify which potions were healing ones. And it can't be Sakura, since she had no idea that the potion had been used until after yesterday's trial. Which leaves us with a pony who has a fair bit of medical knowledge behind them, and who was in the forest that night. That can only mean...
It was a doctor!
Have you any idea as to who this mysterious helper was?
I do, Your Honor. In
Who do we need to thank?
they're in the lobby right now ready to testify.
And who are they?
Silver Spoon!
What? I didn't expect that one.
What?
What?
Not only was she in the forest that night, but she's mentioned before that she has some light medical knowledge. It's not inconceivable that she might know how to make a rudimentary tourniquet.
No, wait! You can't call her to the stand!
Au contraire, Miss Sweetie Belle. The defense has that right. And besides, I am curious as to what Miss Silverspoon would have to say.
I would also like to hear from her. Bailiff, please bring in Miss Silverspoon to testify before the court.
Again.
Now then, Miss Silverspoon. Wait a moment.
Well, there's a package deal here.
Miss
Yeah.
Tiara? What are you doing here? Only Miss Silverspoon was summoned.
I'm going where she's going.
I was gonna let Sylvie face the courtroom alone. You're out of your old geezer mind.
Oh god. I realized that this one song. And if it goes like that case does, This music is for this guy. Right here. Oh. That's everything. I don't have to say anything, but it looks that's everything.
Well, there's one thing I can say. You displayed that to a very tiny window on my screen.
That's fine. He is a very eccentric character.
Alright.
I mean, Diamond here in a sense is eccentric, but multiplied by 100. And you will get that character.
Alright.
Miss Diamond Tiara was quite insistent she accompany her friend, Your Honor. Her loyalty is fairly sound.
Yes, I can see that. And her brattiness just as much.
Your Honor? Why was I asked to come back here? I already testified yesterday.
We'd like to hear once again the actions you took on the night of Royal Order's death, Silver Spoon.
What? I already told you everything that happened!
You did, but not her.
The court transcripts to save ponies like us from repeating ourselves.
Oh, she knows.
Silver Spoon looks like she'd rather be anywhere else but here. That must mean I'm on the right track. Diamond Tiara, it's the duty of a defense attorney to explore every possible avenue in a trial. Even if it means treading on old ground, we can't let that stop us. Not if doing so may allow us to see things a bit clearer.
A bold sentiment. I concur.
Princess Luna?
Both of you will testify as to the actions you took that night. Then we shall see if we can uncover anything new.
In other words, she's trusting that something does come out of this, and that I'm not just firing into the dark.
Fine. We'll tell you everything again. Right, DT?
Uh-huh. Oh, right.
Huh.
The two of us waited at the castle ruins for the CMC to show up, but it was only Scootaloo and her cult friend. He attacked me!
Afterwards, he threw DT's crown into the gorge and ran off. We tried to follow, but DT stepped on my glasses, accidentally breaking them.
That crown is one of my most prized possessions! I couldn't just leave it behind! So Sylvie and I went down the gorge to go look for it.
When we came back, though, that was when we saw the body. We were
Wait, how was Silver Spoon supposed to search for it if she didn't see anything? Right?
Yeah.
She's
that's an
nearsighted
issue.
and her glasses were broken. I mean,
First, they're both Earth ponies, so they couldn't create their own light, and one of them has vision problems if the glasses are broken.
yeah, we know only one of the glasses were missing, but still.
also afraid the police might find the blackmail letter, so we tried looking for it too.
But then that zebra came, so we hid. She saw the body and ran. After a bit, we followed after her too.
Wait, so you did found your crown, though.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor?
That appears to indeed be a repeat of what we heard from these fillies in yesterday's trial. I fail to see what use it may be.
There might be a hole in it, Your Honor, especially since we now have heard other testimonies besides their own.
A fair point. Very well. You may begin your cross-examination.
The two of us waited at the castle ruins for the CMC to show up, but it was only Scootaloo and her cult friend. He attacked me!
I mean, it is true that Turning Page attacked you, but, Well, it wasn't like you were innocent bystanders or anything.
Right. You two were blackmailing the Cutie Mark Crusaders in order to get that roll of golden fabric.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean I should have been hit by a stupid wooden sword. Did you have any idea how painful it is?
Yes.
You're lucky my nose didn't break.
I did see Mr. Wright take a hit, but something tells me he might be a bit more used to physical abuse than most.
Yeah, Link has a very good idea how effective a wooden sword can be.
Yes?
Afterwards, he threw DT's crown into the gorge and ran off. We tried to follow, but DT stepped on my glasses, accidentally breaking them.
That crown is one of my most prized possessions. I couldn't just leave it behind. So Sylvie and I went down the gorge to go look for it.
Hold it! You two went down into the gorge?
Well, yeah. That stupid colt threw away my crown. I couldn't just leave it behind.
I can understand you being able to go down there, Diamond Tiara, but what about you, Silver Spoon? How do you go down there?
She's going down the same
Broken, I
way.
couldn't see, so I needed Diamond Tiara to guide me down the steps.
Could you add that to your testimony then?
Sure. My glasses were broken, so I couldn't see. Diamond Tiara had to guide me down the steps.
Objection! You're saying that your glasses were broken? That doesn't seem quite right to me, Silver Spoon.
Huh? But they were broken. It's just like I told you yesterday during the trial.
As I recall, Defense, you were the ones to first postulate, based on the discovery of the glass shards, that glasses were indeed broken. We even
No, the
verified
glass
that
was
shards belonged
broken.
to Miss Silverspoon's glasses during the recess.
That is true, Prosecutor Luna. But there was a vital detail that I think you failed to mention as part of that report.
What would that be?
Those glass shards came from only one of Silver Spoon's lenses. The other was completely intact, meaning that, with only half of her glasses broken, she could still see just fine through the other lens. If you deny that, Silver Spoon, then I'm sure you wouldn't mind if we verify with your doctor. He could easily confirm that he replaced a pair of glasses with one of the lenses broken.
No, that won't be necessary. It's true. Only one of my lenses was broken, so I could still see. Well, sort of. Enough that DT didn't have to guide me blindly down the steps, at least.
But say it to guide
Means
them.
that you stuck with your friend the whole time?
Yeah, of course. I was walking with only half a pair of glasses on, after all, and it was still very dark and scary. But yeah, Athena's right. I did have one lens letting me somewhat see. But I don't see how this is important at all.
Why is this detail important, Athena?
It's because not only was Silver Spoon able to see while going down into the gorge, but she was also able to see coming out of it, and presumably for the rest of the night. Her being able to see at all gives a bit more credibility to my claim that she helped Sweetie Belle.
You're right. Wow, Athena, look at you. You're really managing
I
to
mean,
put the
I'm
pieces
still
together.
sure that she was the one.
Thank you, Twilight. But we've still got a bit more ways to go before we can end this.
In any case, I believe it is best that we return to the witness's testimony, now that the matter about the glasses has been cleared up.
When we came back, though, that was when we saw the body. We were also afraid the police might find the blackmail letter, so we tried looking for it too.
Hold it! You two had gone down into the gorge looking for Diamond Tiara's crown. After you found it, you left. But during that time, did anything of note occur?
Of note? I mean, we did hear that clang sound while we were looking for it.
But there wasn't just one clang heard that night, Diamond Tiara. There were, in fact, two.
Yes, we established that in the previous trial. There was the one that Sakura, Diamond Tiara, and Silver Spoon heard, and then there was the one that Silver Spoon alone heard. It was suggested that
Yeah,
it might
because
come from
Silver Spoon
inside
was
the castle,
closer.
perhaps from
The second one was Sweetie Belle.
Suggested,
Yeah.
yes, but not supported. However, that's not my point. Thanks to a
Which
little help
means
from
Silver and
Scootaloo, as well as
Diamond
what we
split up at
just
some
heard from
point.
Sweetie Belle,
Yeah?
I think I have a pretty good explanation for why Silver Spoon heard too, but Diamond Tiara did not.
Yeah, now it makes sense why she assumed the Silver Spoon. Because she heard the second one. And Diamond didn't.
Then please explain, Miss Sykes.
Before we resumed today's trial, I asked Zecora and Scootaloo about these clangs. Zecora confirmed that she heard one before she left her hut. Scootaloo said that she also heard one when she was passing by Zecora's house. But that night, she heard a second clang, just before she crashed into Royal Order at the crossroads. Now, do you remember what we just heard from Sweetie Belle? What she did in order to scare off those Timberwolves?
She banged the armor pieces together, making a clanging sound.
And that was, of course, after Zecora left her hut at 10:15. Sweetie hid the pieces together at around 10:25. That's why Zecora didn't hear a second clang. She wasn't nearby.
So this second clang was heard by Miss Scootaloo and Miss Silver Spoon, then?
Yes?
That's right, Your Honor. But if you think about it, that shouldn't be possible.
Why is that?
Scootaloo said she heard that clang when she was at the crossroads, and that clang came from Sweetie Belle, who was at the Nightmare Moon statue. Looking at these two locations, we see they're a short distance of each other. It's not unreasonable that Scootaloo would have been able to hear it. Yet, Silver Spoon said she heard the second clang as well, all the way from the other side of the forest while she was in the gorge.
You were not there.
Now, how can that be?
You're right. That does seem implausible. But she still said she heard that clang, so then...
There's only one explanation, Your Honor. Silver Spoon was not at the bottom of the gorge like she and Diamond Tiara claimed. Instead, she was close enough to the statue to have heard that second clang. Your Honor, it is the defense's belief that instead of following Diamond Tiara down the gorge, Silver Spoon chased after Scootaloo and Turning Page. She made her way through the forest, all the way to the crossroads, hearing both clangs along the way. Once she got to the crossroads, she headed for the statue where she found Sweetie Belle injured and unconscious. As I said before, Silver Spoon has a bit of a background in medicine, since both her parents are doctors. She would have known how to make a tourniquet out of an assortment of items. Therefore, she would have known how to treat Sweetie Belle's injury. And that explains away the issue from earlier. How Sweetie Belle, despite not knowing how to treat her wound, managed to have it treated in the first place. Objection!
Why are you objecting?
Truly a fascinating theory, defense. But you have yet to answer one final question regarding it. Why would she have found Sweetie Belle at all?
You're exciting sound.
What do you mean?
Obviously.
I can believe that Silver Spoon might have run all the way back to the crossroads. But why would she then head to the statue after getting there? Defense, give us some proof to show why she would have gone to the statue.
Gladly, Prosecutor Luna. Take that!
This is... Ah!
That's here?
The photo that Private Eye took revealing Royal Order's blood at the crossroads?
The very same, Your Honor. And if you'll recall, that blood led to the Nightmare Moon statue. If that blood was visible on the night in question, then Silver Spoon should have easily seen it. And that would have meant she could have followed it to the statue where she'd find Sweetie Belle. And after she did, she treated the young filly's wound using what she had available.
That's Sweetie Belle, right? No, that's Silver Spoon.
Miss Silver Spoon?
Sylvie? What are you? Your Honor, I object!
Yes, witness? What exactly are you objecting to?
I'm objecting.
I don't know. I just like to say the
what
word.
Athena said about
Hmm?
She just likes to say the word objection.
Yeah.
going to the statue and helping Sweetie Belle.
You are?
Okay, I admit it. I didn't exactly go down the gorge with DT when she needed me to. Instead, I did chase after Scootaloo and Turning Page. But that's it! That's all I did. I never went near that statue, and I never helped Sweetie Belle. Not one bit.
Hey, Becca, I never have you because I like you.
She's already proven to
But
be
then
untrustworthy
how else could Sweetie Belle have
witness.
gotten the help she needed for her injury? She couldn't do it on her own. And Silver Spoon, you were the only one in the forest that night, sans Sakura, with the expertise needed to help her.
I don't know, Princess Twilight, but I still never did what Athena's saying I did. And it's not like she has any proof to back that up.
Do you?
Athena, you're thinking of something, aren't you?
I am. I have a pretty good idea of how to show definitively that Silver Spoon did help Sweetie Belle that night. But I don't think I want to do that just yet.
What? But shouldn't we?
We should. But there's another angle in all of this that I feel needs to be established before I do that. We know that Silver Spoon's not telling the truth, and it'd be very easy to show that. But we also know Sweetie Belle's been lying to us. I think...
So was DT. She
think
claimed that
there's a
her
way to
friend
get
was there.
both of them to confess the truth. Kill two birds with one stone. And I think if we do that, we'll be one step closer to figuring out everything.
You really think so?
Yeah. I'm more certain of it than I've ever been, Twilight.
Okay.
All right, Athena. I'll follow your lead.
Defense? This witness has objected to your claim. Do you have any proof to support it?
I do, Your Honor. But I don't want to present it at this moment.
You don't want to present it? Miss Sykes, I'm afraid I don't understand.
Your Honor, there's one more detail I would like to get an explanation for from Miss Silver Spoon.
One more detail?
Miss Sykes.
Yes, Prosecutor Luna?
We have a saying here in Equestria. Be wary of those who lead you down the garden path, promising a way out through the twists and turns.
So, be wary of you, Luna.
So far, you have been objecting at various points during this trial, hinting, it would seem, at some larger explanation. But you have yet to provide one.
This is what Luna was doing in the background, right? She has been fixated on, yeah, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that, and follow my lead. Yeah, literally doing the same thing. A lot of them are dying to follow.
Where there were clear avenues for you to exploit, you chose instead to take multiple twisting paths, stringing the court along. So I must ask, where are you taking us? Is it another garden path? And when will these many winding roads cease, allowing us clear passage?
I understand if you feel as though I've been leading us nowhere, Prosecutor Luna. But this will be the last time I take us down those winding roads. I promise.
What is this one other detail that you had in mind, Miss Sykes?
It's something that's been bothering me from the very beginning of this entire case, Your Honor. Almost as much as Royal Order's death. The item that got Turning Page arrested.
You mean...
That's right. The anonymous tip.
This anonymous tip. You must mean the one Miss Sugarstamp wrote and delivered. The one implicating the deceased son?
I am, Prosecutor Luna. However, I think you'll find it's far too soon for us to definitively say that Miss Sugarstamp is responsible for writing and sending it.
Why is that, Defense?
Because of this.
Another magazine?
No,
right.
the same.
But this isn't just an ordinary magazine. If you flip through it, you'll see that a few pages have been cut out. Before this trial began, I had a friend test those cutouts against the ones found on the anonymous tip. and she found that they were a perfect match.
A perfect match?
Where was this magazine discovered?
In the home of Diamond Tiara.
What?
Did you say Diamond Tiara?
Did I stutter?
No, he did.
Order in the court! You mean to say that Diamond Tiara is the true sender of the tip? Witness! What do you have to say for yourself?
What? I don't know. I've never even seen that magazine in my life.
Yet it was found in your house, according to the defense. Do you deny that?
No, but I don't know anything about it.
Objection! I know this looks bad for Diamond Tiara, but, Your Honor, it's actually impossible for her to be the one who sent the tip in the first place.
Impossible? But the magazine! If it was found in her house, and if it matches the tip, then she must have sent it.
Not quite. Take a look at this photo. It's a picture of where this magazine was found, in the trash can of Diamond Tiara's bedroom.
Defense, do you mean to say that you were digging around in some
Not me.
trash?
Not me, my boss. But that's besides the point. Your Honor, when you look at this photo, what do you see underneath the magazine?
Hmm? Oh, why, it's a Hearts and Hooves Day envelope. How lovely.
How long did this guy stay here last time he was in Equestria? Exactly, Your Honor. That's why it's impossible for Diamond Tiara to have sent this.
I'm afraid you've lost me, defense.
The placement of the envelope tells us it was thrown away before this magazine. That envelope could only have been thrown away on Hearts and Hooves Day, February 14th. We know that the tip was delivered on the 13th, because that was the day that Turning Page was arrested. So it doesn't make sense for the magazine to be on top of the envelope. That means it's impossible that Diamond Tiara could have sent the tip. She'd have sent it too late.
Exactly! Finally, you said something smart.
Hey! Would it kill you to be a little grateful?
I see. But then, how do we explain the fact that the magazine was found in her bedroom?
I saw a little symbol thing on her chest. An angry symbol.
Yeah, she's angry, yeah.
She sent it, sugar stamp. She'd already been arrested by the time she arrived in Ponyville.
Logically, that means the sender must be some pony who was in Diamond Tiara's bedroom. Someone who'd be able to discard the magazine while there. Miss Diamond Tiara?
What is it, Princess Luna?
Between today and yesterday, was there any pony present in your house who could have disposed of this magazine?
I mean, oh, Miss Silver Spoon.
It is in your best interest to be honest with the court.
Well, when Sylvie came to my house yesterday, she was carrying a magazine.
DT, wait!
Then that means that Miss Silverspoon could be the true sender.
Except for one thing, Your Honor.
It was placed outside the entrance to the Ponyville police station without any pony noticing. It was around 4:45 when a pair of officers brought it in. I doubt it could have been there for long. We were unsure if it could even be trusted until we started our inquiries.
But it was you who said anything about this. We don't know how much of this is true. Because it has been examined by private eye.
Right. And Princess Luna said you had an appointment the day after. What time did you go?
It was around 4:30. It went on for about half an hour.
The tip was delivered around 4:45 p.m. on the 13th, when Silver Spoon was busy getting her glasses replaced. So you see, she couldn't have sent it.
But she still had the magazine in question. It was still used to write the tip.
If she wasn't the one to deliver it, then she might have been given it by the true author. Is that what you're thinking, Miss Sykes?
Diamond Tiara?
What now?
I know you're scared for Silver Spoon, but figuring out what we can about this magazine is crucial to helping her, even if you can't see it. Do you remember any details about Silver Spoon when she brought the magazine to your house? Anything at all?
DT, please.
Please, Diamond Tiara. I know I have no right to ask this of you, but there's a way to protect Silver Spoon, and it depends on what you're able to tell us.
Okay, fine! DT, hang on! Not now, Sylvie! Just trust me, okay? I'm doing this for your sake!
Diamond?
When Sylvie came into my bedroom with the magazine, I saw that she had a small patch on her coat that was stained red.
Wait, what?
Stained red? With blood, I would presume?
Yeah.
So...
Wait. Those are sketch marks by a cat. I think we found the culprit who broke into the boutique.
Yep.
For
Okay,
that,
well,
you know what this means?
she attempted to break into Rarity's place. Don't know why,
No,
though.
no. It means that she took the magazine from there. Which would mean that Sweetie Man was the one who sent the turning page letter.
Why would Silver Spoon take that magazine, though? Well, they could be in cahoots with Sweetie Belle, I guess.
I mean, yeah, they are probably in cahoots that, yeah, you're not gonna tell the court that I was the one who helped you, and I'm gonna hush anything about this.
Red.
Stained red? With blood, I would presume?
Yeah.
So, she had been bleeding very recently. But what could have caused the injury?
There's no way. Could it really be? I think I know the answer, Your Honor.
You do?
Yes, and it has to do with something that happened yesterday, too. While we were out investigating in preparation for defending Sweetie Belle, we learned from Apple Bloom that there'd been a break-in at Carousel Boutique.
We'd heard of that break-in earlier, too.
A break-in? Oh dear. Has the perpetrator been found?
While the police have cordoned off the area and are conducting their own investigation, regrettably, they have not yet found the culprit.
And neither did
What?
we when we searched
They
the
did
boutique
now.
after hearing of the incident. But we did find some clues as to their identity. Namely, a few drops of blood. Rarity's cat, Opalescence, had attacked them. No doubt that the blood belonged to the culprit. And, coincidentally, we have on the stand some pony who, just yesterday, had also been bleeding.
Also? Been bleeding? Miss Sykes, are you saying?
I am, Your Honor. The defense believes that the pony who broke into Carousel Boutique was none other than... Silver Spoon! Objection!
Defense, that is absurd. Have you forgotten a key element to that whole affair?
A key element, Prosecutor Luna?
Carousel Boutique was completely locked up. All the windows, all the doors. There'd be no way for an Earth pony like Miss Silverspoon to get inside. Not unless she had an accomplice, such as a unicorn to teleport her. And who would do that for her?
Such as someone who can't make a turning can, but magic isn't powerful enough.
Or a unicorn who's already inside there,
Yeah?
who would normally
That's
give
what we
permission to
thought,
enter
too.
the place.
But what if we've all been wrong about that? Wrong? We've all been assuming that the boutique was fully locked up. We know that it was after the crime, but we don't know for sure if it was locked up before. It is quite possible that the true perpetrator had already entered and only locked up the place when they were leaving.
That is still speculation, Golden Pixie.
Maybe not, Prosecutor Luna. Has any pony taken a look at the front door's lock?
The front door's lock? What about it?
It's not an ordinary kind of lock. It's specifically a thumb-turned cylinder lock.
Yeah, that's the thing that police cannot use. They kinda don't have thumbs.
Some of them have horns, though, or wings. And
Yeah,
I've seen the feathers been used like fingers before.
Yeah, but it's still funny how she's specifying that it's a thumb-turn cylinder.
If it's going to be an earth pony, though, there's only one way I can see it: is to bite onto that thing and twist your entire head in order to cause the lock. That's still delicate work too, especially for a filly who has a hard time reaching that.
I can imagine one more way to operate. Think using her hair. You can do that.
Pinky using her pinky, you know? She's just pinky.
It's specifically a thumb-turned cylinder lock. The way it works is that it can be locked from the inside while the door's open, and then the door can close behind someone as they leave. Let's say that I'm right then, that the culprit did lock the place only when they were leaving. They'd be able to thanks to this thumb-turn lock. In doing so, they'd create the illusion that Carousel Boutique had been broken into while it had actually been already locked up completely.
Preposterous! In order for that to work, Defense, some pony would have to leave one of the entrances to the boutique unlocked for the perpetrator to enter at all. But Miss Rarity already told the police that she'd locked up the place before she headed to yesterday's trial, so there was no pony else around to unlock it.
No pony else? I'm not sure about that, Prosecutor Luna. There was, in fact, one pony who could have done that deed. They'd be the one to have orchestrated this elaborate illusion for us all to see. And they'd have done it so that Miss Silverspoon could have entered the boutique unhindered.
Then, who is this mysterious pony, Miss
It's
Sykes?
visible.
It was the only other pony who'd been with Rarity that very same day. Sweetie Belle!
Sweetie?
Sweetie Belle!
Here's how I think the whole incident happened. Before Sweetie Belle left with Rarity for yesterday's trial, she left one of the boutique's entrances unlocked. She then would have told Silver Spoon about the unlocked entrance, telling her to break in that way.
But when could she have told her that?
It would have been yesterday, just before the trial for Scootaloo and Turning Page began. They were both already at the courtroom after all. Sweetie Belle had been brought by Rarity, and Silver Spoon and Diamond Tiara had been summoned by you, Prosecutor Luna.
I think I get what you mean, Athena. And I'm even pretty sure I know how the opportunity to talk to Silver Spoon could have arisen.
You do?
Yes. You see, Your Honor, that morning, right before the trial began, there was a pretty big argument between the three Cutie Mark Crusaders. Afterwards, Sweetie Belle ran off. She could have used that moment to search for Silver Spoon and share her plan.
A plan which would involve breaking into Carousel Boutique.
But why would she need some pony to break in the first place?
The only reason I can think of is that Sweetie Belle needed something inside that she couldn't get while she was with Rarity. So, Silver Spoon entered via the open entrance. She must have locked it behind her to avoid being caught. After some time, she must have found whatever she was looking for and began to leave. But that was when she was attacked by Rarity's cat, Opalescence. She drew blood, forcing Silver Spoon to get away by going through the front door. And as she was leaving, she engaged the third turn lock and closed the door behind her. That locked up the boutique completely and created the illusion that it had always been locked.
No! No, that's not true. I was never near Carousel Boutique. I never talked to Sweetie Belle.
Yet you were bleeding when you went into Diamond Tiara's house. All we need to do is find the area on you where you'd been bleeding, and test the blood against the blood found in the boutique. But you and I both know that won't be necessary, Silver Spoon. There's no point in hiding it. Admit it. You were the one who broke into Carousel Boutique yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I admit it. It was me. Before I went to Diamond Tiara's house, I broke into Carousel Boutique. Silver Spoon!
But why? What were you looking for in the boutique?
It was the magazine, wasn't it?
Yes?
Diamond Tiara said you brought it to her house yesterday. You must have gone to the boutique in order to retrieve it. We might not know that for certain, but I think it'd be easy enough to check.
That's true. We could ask Rarity to see if the magazines belong to her. We could even search the boutique again to see if there's any evidence to show that
Rarity's here right now.
missing.
Yeah.
What?
Rarity's here right now.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be simple, but to break into the boutique all for a magazine?
It's not.
Is it breaking in if you are already inside and you are leaving? It is, but
Not so innocuous, Your Honor. Have you forgotten why we started down this path in the first place? That magazine has some of its pages cut. Some magazine cuttings were found in the anonymous tip that implicated Turning Page. Those cuttings match the ones found in the magazine. And that means...
does this particular must have done it?
Miss Sykes.
Yes, Prosecutor Luna? Whoa, she looks tired.
This is the conclusion you'd come to before, isn't it?
I mean, this is why Sweetie Belle was running away from them.
Then, perhaps you had best tell the court.
Tell the court what exactly?
Thank you for trusting in me, Prosecutor Luna. I know it couldn't have been easy. Your Honor, now that we have confirmed all of this, we now know the true identity of the pony who sent that anonymous tip. It was whoever owned that magazine and could cut it up. That can only be Sweetie Belle herself.
What? Me?
But that's not all. Now that we know that, we can also figure out why she asked Silver Spoon to break into Carousel Boutique to retrieve that magazine. Sweetie Belle did not want it known that she wrote the anonymous tip. So, she needed to pin the blame on some pony else by implicating them through underhanded means. As the court will recall, when I first brought out this magazine and said it had been found in Diamond Tiara's home, it was believed she was the true sender of the tip. But that was all a ruse orchestrated by Sweetie Belle. She had Silver Spoon steal the magazine from Carousel Boutique and plant it in Diamond Tiara's bedroom.
Hmm?
But that still doesn't mean I wrote it! Or heck, that I even sent it! How'd I be able to do that, huh? I can't just walk up to the police station and leave it there! All the officers would see me! If I did send that tip, how could I have delivered it?
That's a fair point.
My
She
magic.
wouldn't have had an opportunity to send it by traditional means.
Exactly!
Could Sugar Stamp have helped in any way?
No. After all, she'd have no way of making the tip. She wasn't the one who had the magazines. Sweetie Belle was. But if she couldn't have sent it traditionally, what if there was a way to send it in a non-traditional manner?
Hi.
Non-traditional. No, you don't mean...
Huh? Hold on a second. Where are Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, and Spike?
Spike headed out just after you guys left for the detention center.
I asked him to go check in on Sweetie Belle for me. I suppose he must still be with her.
It's the only way that it makes sense, Twilight.
Defense? Have you found an answer?
We have, Your Honor.
You have?
I mean, you haven't asked
Your
Spike
Honor,
about this at all, so.
At the time that the tip was sent on the 13th, Rarity had sent my friend Spike to check up on Sweetie Belle, who had said she hadn't been feeling that well. Spike is a baby dragon, and he has a special ability. He can send letters via his magic fire breath.
Oh, so I see.
Not even surprised.
You stayed here way too long for him to not even bat an eye at that.
Miss Sparkle, you're saying that when Spike went up to check on Sweetie Belle, she could have asked him to send that tip to the police station?
That's right. And she could have asked him to do it, and to keep it a secret. Spike would have trusted that she'd have good reason for asking it to be kept quiet. But now...
Whether or not he knew the thing he was sending was an anonymous tip implicating Turning Page, Spike still sent it anyway. That's how it was delivered without any pony seeing who sent it.
But wait a minute! You also said that I got Silver Spoon to get that magazine back in order to free Diamond Tiara. But why would Silver Spoon do that to her best friend? Yeah, why?
They were having an argument.
I suspect it has to do with what happened in the woods the night of Royal Order's murder. If Silver Spoon really helped Sweetie Belle when she was hurt, that also means she was the one who went to Zikora's hut to steal a healing potion. I think, using that information against her, Sweetie Belle could have persuaded Silver Spoon into helping enact her plan.
Yeah, that only holds up if Silver Spoon really did help me that night. And there's no proof she did.
You're right in saying there's no proof she did help you. But there's an easy way of determining that once and for all.
There is?
In the previous trial, we learned that both Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon had blood on their hooves. We thought it belonged to Royal Order, but Silver Spoon confessed before we could verify that. Yet, today, Silver Spoon admitted that, instead of joining Diamond Tiara in the gorge, she chased after Scootaloo and Turning Page. Diamond Tiara still got her hooves bloody by touching the body, but somehow, so did Silver Spoon. So how did her hooves get bloody if she hadn't touched the body? And whose blood did it belong to?
No.
That blood could only belong to Sweetie Belle. Silver Spoon's hooves got covered in it when she helped make the tourniquet. All we need to do is conduct one final blood test, and then we'd know for certain that Silver Spoon did help her that night, and that would confirm everything else. The sending of the anonymous tip, the break-in at Carousel Boutique, and the framing of Diamond Tiara.
Athena, you forgot something. We are not here for that. We are here to see what Sweetie Belle did. And just at you. You are going way around.
She's working way up to that. She's confirming who was at the statue and why.
Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of information coming from Silver Spoon. Yeah.
It was all planned and orchestrated by Sweetie Belle.
And Harrington didn't even move.
Sweetie Belle?
I was hoping,
All
but
that
it
the
didn't
defense
end
has
there.
claimed has been laid out in full. The only thing left is for you to confirm everything. I know you're scared. I know you want to run. But there can be no more running. Not from this. You must face the truth once and for all. Please. Think of your sister, who no doubt sits in the gallery worried out of her mind. Think of your friends. This whole affair must surely come to a shock to all of them. You will no doubt have to face their reactions once outside of this courtroom. The time for revelations will occur then. But for now, you must tell us.
What really happened that night? That goes for you too, Silver Spoon.
Me?
I know
No,
that night.
yes, I concerned. There is no one there. Only Carol was out.
was traumatic for both of you, but we have a chance to confront it. Please, tell us what happened.
Okay, Athena.
Why did he?
Night was the scariest night of my life. I really thought after that Timberwolf attacked me, I wouldn't make it out. That I'd die, alone, in that dumb forest.
You thought you'd die? Just how severe was your injury?
My leg had nearly been ripped off. I guess the Timberwolf had gone crazy after it ate Royal Order's body. Like it was drunk with blood or something. I could barely stay conscious long enough to get behind the statue. That was when I showed up. DT told me to chase after Scootaloo and Turning Page, but I never found them. What I did find, however, was blood on the crossroads. I thought one of them had gotten hurt, so I followed it to its source. It led me to the statue, but there wasn't any pony there. I was about to leave when I heard what sounded like moaning coming from behind the statue. I was already scared by everything that happened, but I couldn't help being curious and, well, I went to look behind the statue. What I found was Sweetie Belle. She was in a very bad state. I remember calling out to her, too shocked to do anything else. She didn't respond, just made another moan, one that sounded weaker than the last.
And that was when you decided to help her.
I couldn't just let her bleed out there. My parents work at a hospital. They understand the value of pony life. And even though they aren't around a whole lot, they still taught me the importance of all lives, too.
You know what they say. In dangerous situations is when somebody's true personality comes out.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Using, I assume, what medical knowledge you do have, you managed to scrape together the force debris to fashion this tourniquet, thus allowing you to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, and I stayed there, by Sweetie Belle's side, until she regained consciousness. When I awoke, I felt fuzzy and disoriented, so I didn't recognize who was next to me. But then I realized it was Silver Spoon. I was shocked. I tried asking her why she was there, but all she did was ask me questions about how I was feeling. Then she asked if I could walk. I looked at my leg and saw the tourniquet, and when I stood, I found I could move a little.
I can also imagine Sweetie Belle trying to ask why you are here, and all she's actually saying like, Because when you are in the days, you don't always say what you think you are saying.
The tourniquet wouldn't hold forever, though, and Sweetie Belle's wounds were bad. She needed to get to a hospital, but we were too deep in the Everfree Forest to get there in time. I asked if she had any ideas to what we should do, and she said she knew a place that had a healing potion we could use to fix her leg. You mean Zeccora's hut? Uh-huh. We walked there together and knocked on her door, but there wasn't any pony home. So Silver Spoon went inside to grab the potion herself. I don't know what Zeccora puts in that stuff, but it managed to seal the wound almost immediately, and I could walk without it hurting.
You're thinking that Silver Spoon had a lot of information about potions.
This whole time, Silver was missing a lens?
Yes.
Okay.
Imagine if she actually grabbed the wrong potion. That would cause a lot of problems.
There was a chance of that, but that didn't happen. This potion was successful in healing Sweetie according to this story.
And you know why she knows which one to grab? Because local hospital buys this potion all the time from Zeccora.
Right. Cora said that earlier, that they do buy it. Immediately, in fact, whenever it's available.
Anthropologists are working there.
Uh-huh.
So she must have seen this potion before.
Mm-hmm.
It did itch for a while afterwards, though.
I mean, yeah, it
You
was
two then
healing.
made your way out of the Everfree Forest afterwards?
Yeah. I also saw Sweetie Belle home so that she didn't have to walk alone. We started talking.
About what?
What
My
she
friendship
has
with
seen.
Diamond Tiara.
Oh.
I'm kinda jealous of you three.
This is before the redemption arc.
Me, Apple Bloom, and Scootaloo? Why? Because you all seem so close. You get to have fun with each other all the time. Well, yeah. That's because we're friends. Don't you get to do that sort of thing with Diamond Tiara? Please don't ever tell Diamond Tiara what I'm about to tell you. Promise me. Alright. I don't really think DT and I are friends like you three are. We definitely don't get along like you girls do. Sometimes I think it's because we're really just filling in gaps that our parents left for us. Diamond Tiara's parents are... them. And mine aren't ever around. That's... really sad, Silver Spoon. How'd you two even meet? At a party. Something that the Riches threw, and that my parents and I were invited to. Of course, when we went, my parents left me to go talk to other ponies. But that was when I met Diamond Tiara. Because we were the same age, we really hit it off.
And that's how
For a while,
friendship
I
starts.
thought that was alright, you know? I thought that was what I wanted out of a friendship. But now I see how you act around Scootaloo and Apple Bloom. How you're always smiling and laughing. And it makes me feel less happy with whatever I have with DT. Like I realize I've been missing something. If that's the case, then why don't you just say you don't want to be friends with her anymore?
Because that is not true. She wants to be friends with her. But she wants to be friends with her. Right?
Because I'm scared that if I do, I won't have anyone else to talk to. Or that no one will want to talk to me. Silver Spoon, I have to ask. Did you take part in that blackmailing? Did you steal our stuff and leave that letter for us to find? I did. You shouldn't have done that, Silver Spoon. No pony wants to be friends with a blackmailer. I know that. I'm sorry.
I just had to stay friends.
You're welcome, Sweetie Belle. Actually, I don't know if I have any right
Here's
to
something
ask
that's
this,
really
but
missing from the picture. Why the hell would Sweetie try to frame Turning Page?
I don't know why.
And Diamond Tiara, for that matter.
Also, now it makes sense why Cinderella is not gonna say anything. She was not saying anything. Here's how I tell it. Nobody wants to be friends with a blackmailer. She's not into herself.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what the CMC were arguing about?
Pony wants to be friends with a blackmailer. I know that.
They probably didn't know that yet.
Thank you for helping me out, though. You're welcome, Sweetie Belle.
But they will after this trial.
I don't know if I have any right to ask this, but, do you think you'd ever want to hang out?
And Ted came home.
Guess not. Can't say.
Oh. Cutie Mark closed the door on her. Oof.
I blame her, though. The next day, I was still at home trying to recover from my injury when I heard from Rarity that Scootaloo had been arrested. That's also when we learned from Rarity that you were feeling sick. I remember you weren't that cooperative when we went to talk to you. I know. I'm sorry, Princess Twilight, but I was really worried. I mean, I knew that the murder had occurred at the statue, but I'd been there too.
my blood was at the scene. I was afraid I'd be arrested. That's why I didn't want to help. But even so, I couldn't just sit by and let Scootaloo suffer. So after you and the others left, I decided to write that anonymous tip.
Saying that Turning Page had killed his father in the Everfree Forest?
Yep. But at first, I didn't really want to go through with it. It wasn't until Spike showed up to check on me that I decided to have it sent anyway. He asked me what it was, but I told him to trust me, that it wasn't anything bad. I also told him that if he did this, I'd send him up on a date with Rarity.
Oh. That is the reason why he chose, not because of the other side. Because usually when someone says, just trust me, I'm not gonna tell you anything about it, I would be more suspicious.
He would have no reason to distrust her.
Yeah, and I think I didn't have any reason to distrust Luna, and Luna had no reason to distrust Athena.
You know what though? It's a little sus if she had to tell him where it needs to go for him to send it there, then that gets a little weird. Like, I need you to send this letter, which I want you to not read, to the foot of the police station.
Yeah, if it's for the
You
police
think you
station,
just take it and go like, okay, and then blows it and done. If he got all that information, he might think it's a bit suspicious.
also in Spike's case, it would be like, why are you not telling to Princess Twilight?
On the other hand, if she says, blow up fire on this, it'll be sent wherever I intend for it to go.
That's
And
not how it works.
Spike doesn't have to be aware of the destination, then I guess that could work.
No, I'm pretty sure Spike has to know where it is, where he has to send it, or who he is sending it to.
I saw a little evidence contrary to that, but that's way later on the show. Like sending a bunch of letters that Mrs. Cake had, and it ends up inside her pies right in front of him. He didn't know that where it would go before he sent it. But keep in mind, this episode is produced way before season 8.
I mean, that is why I said where or who to.
It would be reasonable to assume that Spike, or at least the writers of this particular episode here, would think that Spike would need to know where it's being sent in order for him to send it to that destination.
Yeah. I would still be suspicious. Especially because because of the place that is in the police office.
I didn't hear that the letter was in an envelope either. So he could have seen it, or at least a glimpse of it, before sending it.
I'm thinking about it. Has Spike ever sent any envelopes before? Or only parchment?
You know what? The answer is no, as far as I know.
Yeah, I think he only sent a roll of parchment.
Well, that's kind of what this is. This is a letter that is not in an envelope, so that kind of format is very close to the things he sends all the time.
Yeah.
I guess it could have been rolled up, then he wouldn't be able to see it. But still, she would have to tell him the destination is the foot of the police station, right?
But now we know that Sweetie Belle will have a very serious planning to do after this whole case. Because she will have to set Spike up with Nate.
It still seems weird, but it sounds like what she's saying here is, I'm trying to frame Turning Page in order to exonerate Scootaloo.
Yeah.
But Turning Page wasn't a friend?
To her, not really.
Sweetie Belle! That's incredibly manipulative of you. I know that!
had to do it when I had the courage. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to. Not that it ended up working out anyway. Turning Page getting accused didn't get Scootaloo acquitted. If anything, it just made the whole situation worse for the two of them.
And now, it makes it sound like that you are trying to frame someone else instead of yourself. It makes it sound worse for you. Because you are accused of murder.
Well, yeah, that's why she didn't want to confess this far.
I also knew that at some point, I'd be found out. And I couldn't bear to face Scootaloo if she learned what I did to Turning, knowing how she feels. So that's when I decided to try and plant the magazine in Diamond Tiara's home. That way, Scootaloo would think she sent it, not me.
I sense that was not the only reason, however.
No. I did it too because I wanted to get back at Diamond Tiara for what she did to us.
But even then, you couldn't actually plant the magazine yourself. Rarity forced you to come to the trial.
I was even more afraid then. I thought for sure I'd be arrested. So I needed a way to make
And
sure
you
it
were.
wasn't on any pony's radar.
And that must have led to you leaving one of the entrances to the boutique unlocked.
Right. The back door one. While Rarity was preparing to leave, I thought about how I could get this plan to work, and realized I'd have to rely on Silverspoon. I had a feeling she and Diamond Tiara would show up during the trial once the blackmail was uncovered, so I was sure I'd be able to find her then.
That would have been right after the fight you had in the lobby before the trial.
It wasn't hard to find her. She was in the witness lobby waiting to be summoned. I figured that whatever happened during the trial, she and Diamond would get off thanks to their families, which meant she'd be available to help me after the trial, which was what my plan needed to happen. I managed to get her away from Diamond Tiara to talk to her alone, and that was when I told her my plan, But I didn't want to do it. She was asking me to break into Semponi's house and steal something for Celestia's sake, even if it was with her permission.
There's something worse than that. I could definitely see DT complaining about framing Diamond.
Yeah.
Even if she feels a little uncertain about their relationship at that point, I still think she didn't want to go that far to betray anything resembling what she thinks is a friend.
Yeah, so they were framing Diamond about framing Turning.
One thing that's a little weird here, though, is okay, so she's also claiming, I don't want to break into someone else's home, but you know what I am comfortable with? I'm comfortable with blackmail.
No, she was not comfortable with blackmail. That's why she was confessing to
I'm sorry,
Sweetie.
DT did that? DT did that.
No, Silverspoon helped DT with the blackmail, but she was not comfortable with it.
Alright.
That's why she was like, oh, I don't know if we are friends at all.
I tried to convince her that it wasn't worth staying attached to Diamond's hip when she was about to sink. I even brought up what she said in the previous night, but Silverspoon wouldn't budge, no matter what I said.
So that's when you had to play a different card.
Yeah. I demanded that Silverspoon do what I asked, or I'd tell Diamond what she told me, and Sakura about the potions she stole.
You are not only framing somebody else, but blackmailing. Turning into something that you hate the most.
Well, this path is getting darker and darker, except for one thing. Not the murderer.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't prove anything about that, yeah.
And to a certain extent, she's also the victim, because she was definitely attacked by Timberwolves, according to this story. Severe enough to threaten her life.
Anything about that? Silverspoon cannot say anything about the murder happening here. Because there was nobody there. Only Sweetie Man. And the blood.
Right after this sentence, what if Silver turns to Sweetie Belle and says that, okay, you convinced me to steal the letter, but you could have warned me about that cat.
Yeah.
You blackmailed her.
That potion. I only learned later that it was in high demand at the hospital. If my parents learned that I'd stolen and used it, they'd be furious.
Oh.
So, I had no choice.
So then, it actually is super lucky that she used that potion. She didn't mistake it for anything else.
Well, I gotta say one thing about that situation. Maybe their parents wouldn't approve that the fact she stole the potion, but what she used it for is exactly what her parents would have done.
Yes, that is true. And they already know it. Probably. Because of this trial. And I'm curious how Sweetie Belle didn't know where the potion was.
From her part of the story, Silver Spoon, this situation is easily solved because her parents probably do have the kind of money to repay for that potion that was their daughter stole.
Yeah.
And other than some disapproval, that's the end of that story.
I mean, in a case, they didn't want to see it first, but the hero was not home. They wanted to ask it first. But it was not their intention to go there to begin with.
Pretend for a second that Sakura was there. I think she would have given the potion.
Yeah, she would. Or she would have given another potion, which is easier to make.
If it works, then sure. Yeah, it's possible Sakura could have had a better idea.
Because that wound didn't need to be full, using a full heal on.
By the way, although you don't see her in the audience, I remember Sakura's been asked to stay here. She could be witnessing this whole thing right now.
He probably is.
I said I'd do what she'd asked. In the end, what I was afraid of did happen. I was found out and arrested. But my plan still worked. Silver Spoon wasn't detained for long and made her way to the boutique to steal the magazine. It was just like you described, Athena. I entered through the unlocked entrance and found the magazine. But then I got attacked by opalescence, and she scratched me a little. I managed to get away through the front door, engaging the lock before it closed.
Wait, wasn't
keep that darn cat in there is what's going on here.
What?
You know, it seems like the real reason she locked the front door is to keep opalescence inside.
Yeah. Didn't she enter through the back door?
I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for that darn cat.
Afterwards, I went to DT's house to place the magazine in the trash. That was just a few minutes before you all arrived.
Also, we were right. The mess was made by the cat. After she left.
Well, maybe DT too is stumbling around trying to defend herself.
I mean, DT was not there. Silver Spoon was there.
But that's everything. Everything Silver Spoon did. Everything I did. Everything.
Yeah, we still haven't proven anything at all.
Based on that testimony, she's not the murderer.
Based on the testimony, she didn't say that she's not the killer.
That's one of the rulings I'm thinking it's about to come up here is Sweetie's about to be cleared of at least the murder part.
Yeah, we not only didn't disapprove that she's the murderer, but we also proved that she is the framer and she's the blackmailer. Even more!
What, you think they're gonna make another trial just for that?
No. No, she already confessed. There is no trial for something that you already confessed to. I mean, there is, but Only if the charges pressed. And I'm sure that the girl won't press charges.
Well,
There is
Diamond
some
might
tragic
complain.
irony in all of this, Sweetie Belle, which I do not think you have realized.
Tragic irony?
These actions you took, don't they seem quite familiar to you?
Yeah, what I said, she is
Blackmail,
turning.
framing, subterfuge, lying. They're nearly the same actions Diamond Tiara took against you, your friends, and Turning Page. In trying to stop what she was doing, you ended up doing what she did anyway.
The meek little prey became the vicious predator, biting back with vengeance.
I mean, if it took Diamond Tiara's tiara and put it on Sweetie Belle, there would not be too much difference. Other than the horn and the fur
And
color.
then, after that, you went ahead and framed Sunset Shimmer for a bunch of crimes she didn't commit.
Huh?
That is another story, but the human counterparts did that.
You're right. You're completely right. What have I done?
So, back to the case?
Witnesses, you may step down from the stand now.
Yes, Your Honor.
Or you can dance down the stand, whatever you prefer.
No, you can't hear that now.
Yes, Prosecutor Luna?
It appears we have come to an end of the winding trail you set us upon. We have managed to uncover a great deal of revelations, and with them some complicated feelings, I am sure.
And she's not gonna say that. But you haven't proven anything at all.
Much has been said now about what happened following this murder, and we have managed, I believe, to piece together a fuller picture of the actions many took these past few days. But this discovery, this confession, these revelations, what were they all for?
Yeah,
What
they have nothing to do with the
they
case.
all for?
With the murder.
Indeed. In perhaps an equally tragically ironic sense, we have learned much about everything around the murder, but very little about the murder itself.
I must agree. For as cathartic as this confession was, has it led us to uncovering anything further about the true nature of Royal Order's murder?
Nope.
I think we have at least uncovered one thing. You noticed it as well, Athena?
I did, Twilight.
Really?
Your Honor, what we just heard from Silver Spoon and Sweetie Belle doesn't just reveal to us their part in all of this. It also reveals a huge contradiction.
And just what would this huge contradiction be?
Let me show you. Silver Spoon said that she had followed after Turning Page in Scootaloo, right? She went down the crossroads before she ended up at the statue. Now, we
Wait, didn't they go to a clearing?
know that she went there before Royal Order's body ended up near the castle ruins. That tells us that she must have been chasing them around the same time that Sugar Stamp was flying over.
You're saying...
Precisely. Sugar Stamp told us that when she was flying over the path, she saw two ponies heading towards each other. One was Zecora, and the other was Turning Page. But she never mentioned seeing Silver Spoon or any pony else on the path. How could she have missed her? But neither Zecora nor Turning Page.
Aha! That is quite the contradiction, isn't it?
So Miss Sugar Stamp's confession contradicts Silver Spoon's. How do you explain that, Miss Sykes? Was Silver Spoon lying?
No, it's my Sugar Stamp.
I don't think so, no. Too many of her events match up with our evidence. That leaves us with Sugar Stamp's confession. It's far more likely she's the one lying about who she saw.
We also know, from what Private Eye confessed to, that the murder weapon was fabricated too. Her entire confession and testimony must be false.
Furthermore, the fact that Private Eye went out of his way to fabricate such evidence tells us he did so in order to support her entire confession.
Her entire confession? You mean not just the murder, but also...
Right, Your Honor. Her moving the body is also a fabrication. In other words, everything that Sugarstamp allegedly confessed to, murdering Royal Order at the clearing, moving his body, and framing Turning Page and Scootaloo, is nothing but a carefully crafted lie.
Yay! We actually proved that nothing we established so far is real. Literally nothing. We are back to 0.
Is nothing but a carefully crafted lie. Objection!
So you return to that claim yet again, Miss Sykes. Yet I am not sure that Sugarstamp and Private Eye were in cahoots over this. But even if I were convinced, surely even you can see how what you've proposed puts us all in a difficult situation.
Difficult? How so, Prosecutor Luna?
Your Honor, if the defense is right, that the body at the clearing was neither moved nor killed by Sugarstamp, then what actually did happen? For regardless of what did happen, one thing remains certain. The body was still moved.
Are you sure about that? Now we cannot be sure about that either. We have questioned everything again.
Yes, indeed. I would like to know what the defense thinks.
Okay, Athena. Everything's finally come to this point. I need to take a moment and think this through one step at a time. If I'm right about this, then we have no explanation for how the body was moved. But maybe I need to change my thinking here. Instead of focusing on how to explain the body being moved, maybe I should focus on why the body needed to be moved in the first place. Sugarstamp and Private Eye were working together to falsify the events that happened at the clearing, so whatever they produced cannot be trusted. Taking that into consideration, what do we have that we know can be trusted definitively? What can tell us what happened in that clearing?
The blood, yeah.
Of course! Sonata found blood at the clearing. Private was in court during the blood's discovery, so there's no way he could have faked a blood test for it. That means that this really is Royal Order's blood. But what does that tell us? All we could really say is that a big pool of his blood was there at the scene. Is there anything that could point to where it came from?
Wait, I saw it right. They mentioned time travel as well. This would be a very interesting case if time travel was actually in it.
Yeah,
Also,
okay, what I'm witnessing right here is supposed to be standard format for Phoenix Wright.
to her game.
Like the player of the game is supposed to select an option here?
Yes.
Okay.
That's right. The blood rings belong to Royal Order too. They didn't end up there when he died, so some pony else had to have splashed his blood. And when they did so, they must have splashed the blood in the direction of the clearing. Yet somehow, no one reported this blood being found on the ground. How could the blood have gotten only onto the trees, and formed in such a weird way? What if...
Yeah, thank you for pausing it. Let's look at all the weird options here.
The most
Fell from
powerful.
the sky that way. The blood was moved by levitation. Okay, that's possible. The blood was moved by a creature. I'd say option B.
Yeah, B or C. I mean,
wrong angle for the sky. And why
Yeah.
would a creature care about straight lines in one direction of the tree? But Timberwolves were there. I can't completely dismiss them, but they seem like an unlikely suspect, even if they were there.
I mean, B and C are actually the same, because a creature has to use the levitation.
Look at this. So Timberwolves were there. So they turned to each other after supposedly eating Royal Order, right? And then one of them says to another, "You know, I got a funny idea. Let's smear blood over those specific trees over there. Let's do it in a straight line,
Also,
around
it
and
would
only
be
one side of it."
the crowd would be watching a bloody if they use that part.
You have to be that careful too. Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's as if they had a paintbrush. So the Timberwolves go back to the pool of blood, twist their head with a paintbrush in their mouth to dip into the blood, and then go over to the trees and smear in a straight line only on one side of the tree.
Yeah, it has
That's
to
if
be
we're going with the
levitation.
creature theory.
Levitation, yeah.
That's it. If the blood was moved from one place to another using unicorn levitation, then it would likely form the rings around the trees. Then that suggests
But
that the
why?
Was Royal Order a unicorn himself? Yes, he was. He was able to
Yes.
teleport, right?
Yes.
came from the blood of the statue, which would mean there was never a murder at the clearing to begin with.
Ah, you are going to the same thing I was going to.
The second murder occurred elsewhere. Royal Order faked his death. Bing, ding, ding, right there. There was no clone.
So, yeah, it could be the third one.
Actually, I'm leaning on option B and C.
Yeah. I mean, they are going into there was no second killing. I mean, either there was no clone or the clone was killed.
Only at the statue. But that means
There was no clone, that's what he went with.
no clone? So that means this entire time we've been chasing after a ruse? This is somehow even more insane than the clone theory itself. I hate having to backpedal and things like this. But it's the only thing that can explain everything we've uncovered. Even so, our entire position was built on that theory. Now I know it's wrong. But who could have set this whole thing in motion? And why?
Athena? What's wrong? You look like you're about to throw up.
Twilight, I just figured something out.
Great! Does it help us?
Yeah.
So, but it also doesn't?
Huh?
Miss Sykes, I believe we've waited long enough. Prosecutor Luna has asked for an explanation, and the court would very much appreciate hearing it.
I don't know how to feel about this. I think I'm on the right track here, but...
Athena?
Huh?
What you figured out, do you think it'll help us find the truth?
Yeah, but it's...
Then we have to tell the court, no matter what. Even if it might hurt us now. If it takes us even one step closer, we have to take that leap.
I know I've been asking this a lot, Twilight, but are you with me?
Always, and to the very end.
That's why I don't know how big that leap is.
What if her response was different? Like, are you with me? Like, and she says, "No, Athena, you asked that question too many times, and now I'm starting to get suspicious."
Yeah.
Sykes, I sense that whatever it is you are about to tell the court is causing you some amount of discomfort. Nonetheless, you cannot relent. You've demonstrated a tremendous level of both faith and ingenuity while defending your clients. What you need now is resolve. The necessary.
One of the titles of the game is Resolve.
Resolve to stand tall and go forward with your beliefs, and prove to me that I was not mistaken in mine about trusting you. Is this something you can muster?
Yes, I think so.
This is also something I can catch up.
First, let me ask you something.
I wasn't thinking about that. I wasn't thinking about that joke. Like, no, that's too cheesy. I'm not gonna say that. But you said it before me.
I bow to you.
You still believe that there were 2 royal orders that night, correct?
Yes. The 2 bloodstains found at the clearing and the statue prove that 2 royal orders were in the Everfree Forest.
Also, it doesn't disprove that there were multiple.
They do, if we take those stains at face value.
What are you talking about?
Here's the thing, Prosecutor Luna. Ever since the previous trial, we all believed that clones were involved. Royal Order went to the mirror pool in order to clone himself.
Yes, that was your reasoning.
And why did we believe that? Because someone moved the stone from the mirror pool. And
then there's some false evidence planted ever since then. Like, what that Sugar Stamp was jealous. He was trying to be in 2 relationships at once. But everything from that corner, everything about the suitcase, those were planted evidence. So it points to something false, which means everything it says is not the truth.
Do we know
so it's anything but what the evidence says?
Now that I think about it, wasn't it that Royal Order was coming home at night? So he couldn't have gone to the mirror pool because of the name rumors?
Well, that I don't remember.
I don't remember either, that's why I'm asking. I mean, yeah, he could still have gone there.
Defense, where are you going with this?
But now, when we take into account at least one of those areas where the blood was found was part of the phony confession, our initial theory gets placed under a new light.
Athena, you don't mean...
Here goes. Prosecutor Luna, Your Honor, Twilight, I believe that despite everything we've heard, despite everything we've supposedly uncovered, the fact of the matter is that this clone never existed in the first place.
What?
Golden Pixie! Have you taken leave of your senses? The existence and subsequent involvement of a clone was your postulation to begin with!
Indeed, Miss Sykes! How is it that now, of all times, you decide to abandon that theory altogether?
No! Athena, you can't seriously think... I mean, when I considered all of the possibilities, I couldn't have anticipated this!
Me neither. But please, just hear me out. I know that was what we were arguing before, but I just now realized our line of thinking was completely wrong.
How could it be? You provided a perfectly sound explanation as to how clones, as absurd as the idea initially was, could be involved with the murder.
That's just it. I think the explanation was too perfect.
Planted by someone.
Explain, Defense.
Here's what I think. When Twilight and I proposed the clone theory, Private Eye had been listening and told Sugar Stamp about it after the trial. They must have used that idea to create this false narrative about a clone.
You mean they didn't plan this from the start?
I don't think so. No one thought of clones until we brought it up. And then, afterwards, everything began lining up with Sugar Stamp's confession.
But why would they do this? Why would they go so far just to create the illusion of there being clones involved?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Then I must reject this madness outright. You know such speculation is not permitted in this court. I thought I could rely on you to abide by that at least. You need proof, and I demand you show it to us immediately.
Proof that there were no clones. How can I show that?
Because of the neighbor
This is what
most
you meant
probably.
before, when you said this could both help and not help us.
Yeah. I know it throws everything we've been arguing out the window, Twilight, but...
No, I see the logic in it. Admittedly, it's a bit simplistic in scope, but they do say that sometimes the simplest answer is the right one. In which case, I think this might actually be the truth.
You do? But then, how do we prove it?
Let me think. So, the clone story was fabricated entirely, correct?
That's right.
Yeah?
Well, if the clones themselves weren't real, then something else about them must not be real too. Like the circumstances around their creation, maybe.
The circumstances.
But we'd have to somehow show those circumstances aren't real either. But short of time traveling back to the moment the clones were supposedly created, which incidentally is now impossible to do.
Wait. I mean, Twilight could do that. She could do time traveling.
Yeah, it was back in season 3.
The moment the clones were supposedly created, which incidentally is now impossible to do.
I got it. I know how to show that.
You do?
Yep. Thanks, Twilight. Okay. You want proof, Prosecutor Luna? You got it. Take that.
A photo of the mirror pool's entrance? How is this proof?
Look closer. On the boulder itself, you can see a particular species of flower partly growing. These are day bloomers. True to their name, they only bloom during the day. But that's not all. If you look at the vines on the flowers themselves, you can see that they've been cut. If Royal Order had moved the boulder on the night of the murder in order to access the mirror pool, then the flowers shouldn't have blossomed in the following days. Yet, when my friends and I arrived at the scene, they were all blooming. This could only mean that some pony moved that rock in the middle of the day. Perhaps even recently. Possibly right after the previous trial and after we presented our clone theory.
Right, when the whole scene was closed. Right?
That certainly makes an alarming amount of sense.
But who could have moved the boulder then?
There was only one pony who'd be able to do that. Private Eye.
Private Eye? How?
When we were investigating the mirror pool yesterday, Private Eye let it slip that he was the first of his team to come across the boulder.
When I first found the cave, it was already open like this.
Because of that, he'd be able to make it look like the boulder had already been moved by Royal Order.
Objection! This doesn't prove there were no clones, though.
How come?
Because of how you and Miss Sykes determined definitely that there was a clone that night. The Royal Order whose body was found near the castle ruins died instantly from a wound to the head. But as we learned yesterday, Scootaloo crashed into another Royal Order while fleeing the forest. A Royal Order who happened, as she testified, to still be breathing. How else can you explain one body breathing and one body not breathing if not by admitting the existence of a clone?
What is the time frame in between those? I mean, there are actually potions in the, and drugs in real life as well, which fake you that.
That's true.
It is still possible that he's not dead.
Furthermore, the body found at the ruins doesn't bear any signs of a scooter crashing into it. Just a large bruise on the side of the abdomen. Once again, how else can you explain this absence of obvious, distinct bruising if not by admitting the existence of a clone? It doesn't make any sense.
You're right. It doesn't make any sense.
What? You admit it?
We'd established before proved clones were involved, and our strongest evidence was Scootaloo hearing breathing from the body she crashed into. But if clones were not involved, then what Scootaloo thought she heard must have been wrong.
You don't mean to say
that the breathing Scootaloo thought she heard coming from Royal Order didn't come from him. Instead, it must have come from some pony else.
But Miss Scootaloo was so certain she heard it coming directly from Royal Order.
Then logically, it must have come from some pony who was right up against the body itself.
Objection! That claim is ridiculous! How on Equestria could Scootaloo have missed seeing some pony behind the body?
Well, it was quite dark.
Even so, if the moon was bright enough that Scootaloo could see she crashed into Royal Order, then she would have seen some pony behind him. There is no feasible way for any pony to hide that way, and thus no way for her to have heard any pony but Royal Order breathing. Nothing short of a child could have even the slightest chance.
Child? No, that's ridiculous. There wasn't any pony like that who would have had a chance to...
Ooh. Are we going back to the other page?
Oh no.
Athena? What is it this time?
Maybe I'm wrong. I've gotta be. But all my instincts are telling me, screaming at me.
Miss Sykes? Do you need me to call a recess? You appear ill.
I do? I mean, I'm not. But Prosecutor Luna?
What is it, Miss Sykes?
Before I answer your rebuttal, I want to confirm 2 more things. By asking Silver Spoon and Sweetie Belle to retake the stand.
Miss Sykes, I'm not
Oh no. You know, I didn't even think about that. How did Silver Spoon make her glasses? Why were they on the ground to begin with? Wait, they said it was turning page, right? They said they hit them. That's why it was on the ground.
Probably, but that you just watched that episode years ago. That part of the trial I don't no longer recall.
But is that really the truth?
sure what you're planning now, but very well. The prosecution won't object to this.
Your Honor?
Yes, quite right. The court accepts this proposal.
Athena?
Silver Spoon? When you were chasing after Scootaloo and Turning Page, you were headed towards the crossroads, right?
Yeah, that was before I found Sweetie Belle.
Previously, Zecora testified that she was headed towards the castle. She would have been on the same road as you were. Before you found Sweetie Belle, did you ever run into Zecora?
Run into? No, actually, I just saw her coming and hid.
You hid?
Yeah, I just jumped away into the forest so that she wouldn't see me.
What?
But that must mean You were the shadowy figure Sakura saw leap out of her way?
That can't be right. Turning Page said he was the one whom Sakura saw.
But Sakura never got a good look at that figure. All she could tell was that it was a child. And
Right, and we assumed it was Turning Page. Because that makes sense. Yeah, we are going back to Turning Page. And that's why Athena was so shocked.
think about what we figured out just now, too. About Sugar Stamp's story.
She couldn't have missed seeing Silver Spoon if she saw both Sakura and Turning Page. But that was a lie, wasn't it? Just like the rest of her confession.
Right. But that leaves us with a missing bit of information. Sugar Stamp's story initially told us where Turning Page was after the blackmail deal went bad. But now that it's been shown to be a lie, and that neither Silver Spoon nor Sakura saw him, the question becomes, where did Turning Page actually go?
Indeed. His disappearance cannot be accounted for.
Huh? Miss Sykes?
Keep it together, Athena. Sweetie Belle.
Huh?
The suspense really
That
powerful.
tape you sent. We've established you sent it, and how, but there's still something left unanswered. Why Turning Page? You could have implicated Diamond Tiara or even Silver Spoon, since you knew they'd been blackmailing you and your friends. But why specifically him?
Because that is the truth.
Because of what I overheard. When I was hiding behind the statue before I passed out.
What did you hear?
Exactly what I wrote on the anonymous tip, Princess Twilight.
What you wrote?
I thought if I wrote that, it would be enough to save Scootaloo. Even though it'd make her really, really sad.
Thank you. Both of you. And there it is. The last detail I needed. The last detail I actually wanted.
So you've confirmed those two things you were looking for, Miss Sykes. But what now?
You will have to call back Turning Page.
Can I do this? I don't know if I can. Or if I even want to. I don't think I've ever wanted to be proven more wrong in my entire life. And yet, all the pieces of this ugly, frustrating, terrible puzzle have finally come together to form the complete, tragic picture. All I have to do is put it together. But if I do that, some pony's innocence would be destroyed. And what's more important than protecting that?
There is one thing even more important than the trial's outcome. The truth.
You're right, boss. I have to do this. Prosecutor Luna, Your Honor, Twilight.
What is it, Miss Sykes?
Thanks to what we've just heard, I figured it out. The answer to the question that's been at the center of everything.
You mean the question of who killed Royal Order?
Who? There's only one pony who could have, and that's the son of the victim himself. Turning Page!
What?
Next thing the whole court is gonna get inside the wall.
What in Equestria are you doing? Turning Page is innocent! You proved so in that previous trial!
Wait. If they are really taking the judicial system from the human world, from the games. They have a ruling. If someone is already proven innocent in one trial, they cannot be tried again.
Yep.
So even if she
Not
is
might not
saying
exist
that,
in Equestria though.
yeah, but yeah, she can be, they can be put here that said that yeah they are not innocent. They can prove by that Sweetie Man is not the killer, but he cannot be sent to jail by that trial. And I mean, this is not a trial for him, so it is not trying him to be innocent or not. It is a trial for Sweetie Man, so he can still be called on as a witness.
You can't be serious! Why would you even think that?
As much as I don't want to believe it, it's the only explanation left. And the one that clears up these last and final contradictions.
These contradictions? You mean the breathing and lack of bruising?
Yes, Your Honor. That breathing could not have come from the victim himself, but instead, some ponies sitting right up against him. As Prosecutor Luna pointed out, they'd have to be small as a child.
No!
That night, there were 5 children in the forest. 4 of them, Diamond Tiara, Silver Spoon, Scootaloo, and Sweetie Belle, have all been accounted for. But, as we established, the 5th, Turning Page, somehow vanished. He could only have appeared to do so if he was hidden in plain sight. By hiding next to the body of Royal Order that lay in the middle of the crossroads. Therefore, the breathing that Scootaloo heard had to come from him.
That's right! That explains it!
Then what of the lack of bruises on Royal Order?
All this time, we thought that Scootaloo had crashed into him. But now that we know Turning Page was there too, we can perfectly understand why Royal Order suffered no bruises from the scooter. It's because Scootaloo instead crashed into Turning Page himself.
Objection! That is a completely impossible claim, defense. Turning Page showed no signs of injury during or after the event.
Yeah, but nice fur.
Objection! That's because we haven't searched him yet. Your Honor, the defense formally requests that Turning be searched for signs of bruising.
No! The prosecution refuses to allow this! I will not—
It's all right, Princess Luna. If Miss Sykes wants me to be searched, then I'll allow it.
What? Turning Page, no! Don't you see what this means for you?
That's enough, Prosecutor Luna!
Oh my god. I just realized one thing. Luna is very much objective to this. Which would mean she is not afraid of Turning Page having seen bruises. She is afraid of something else we might find. Remember what Turning Page's mother was pulling out during the trial all the time? Which I...
That little stick?
Which I said was not a stick that teachers use to point. That is a bottle. I'm kind of afraid we may see some bruises that are not lining up with a scooter. If this goes to domestic violence, that would be a very messed up case. It's already a messed up case to begin with, but that would be motive.
Bailiff, Search the young colt immediately for any signs of bruising. Let us see the truth once and for all. Is that...
A bruise? On the right side.
Okay, only one bruise. Good. This time I'm actually happy that we didn't find a lot of bruises.
Your Honor, this proves that Turning Page is the one responsible for the death of... Objection!
It only proves that he was
Fair Devotion?
This is who she was coming for. I figured that out a while ago.
That's enough, Miss Sykes. I won't have you disparage my son anymore. Especially not for a crime he didn't commit.
What do you mean? The bruise tells us...
It tells us, yes, he got them from when Scootaloo crashed into him. But that's all. It says nothing about his culpability, despite what you have been arguing.
But respectfully, Miss Devotion, Turning Page, having submitted himself for examination, has indicated his guilt.
That is only because his father raised him to take responsibility, even for the things he has no control over. Your Honor, my son didn't kill my husband.
I did. Yeah.
You what?
And I believe she would say that, even if she didn't.
I can't pen a motive for Turning Page either, actually. I'm leaning on they're both innocent. So far, what Athena's really leading up to, if you think about it, is only the fact that Turning Page was there, not what he did.
We still know how he died. We know that the hole in his head
we
was...
do not. We do not know how he died, or possibly even if he died.
Order in the court! Miss Devotion, you confessed to murdering your husband?
That's impossible! You just testified earlier that you didn't even find Royal Order
That's
until
not
it was
a
too
lie.
late!
And I still stand by the majority of my testimony. But I must make one additional statement.
One additional statement?
Sugar Stamp said that she saw Sweetie Belle attack Royal Order, but that was a lie. In actuality, the pony who attacked him, leading to him being impaled at the statue's base, was me.
No! That's not true! She's only doing this to protect her son!
I see. Well, as this runs counter to your argument, what do you think, Miss Sykes?
Your Honor, the defense opposes accepting this new confession!
You cannot do that. Unless you prove with evidence that it's a lie.
What?
On what grounds?
On the grounds that it ruins everything! We can't just take this at face value! If we want to reach a satisfying conclusion to this whole case, we need to hear one final testimony from Miss Devotion!
Athena's right, Your Honor. There's no way to determine if we can trust this confession until we hear exactly what Fair Devotion did that night.
Prosecutor Luna, do you have any objections?
Please, Prosecutor Luna!
It's very shocked.
Your Honor, I do not. The prosecution would also like to hear this final testimony from this final witness for the final time.
Very well. The court accepts the proposal. Miss Devotion, you will testify as to what happened between you and Royal Order on the night of his murder. Is that understood?
Very well, Your Honor.
This is it. With this, we'll finally be able to put an end to this ordeal. The truth is out in the open now, and all that's left to shield it is one final testimony from Miss Devotion.
And once again, we still haven't seen equity coming into the picture.
I noticed that.
And I think, yeah, that's in the end of this part.
I know, the rest of their credits.
Yeah, we are not playing the credits, but we are adding. There is one in between episode, which is like 3 minutes long. We are gonna do that.
Do you recall something Turning Page said is, whatever happens, please defend my mother.
Yes.
And it was at that point he was basically saying, I accept the blame.
The question is, who is the real killer? We can still get to the point that Royal Order is still alive.
Yep. If the killing did occur, I don't think it's any of the ponies here in this case. Neither Turning Page nor Fair Devotion had a motive that serious. Now, she does have a motive to cover for him, but the same is true vice versa. I'm thinking you're not getting the truth from either of them.
Yeah.
Here's why. I think they both don't know who actually killed him.
Yeah, I believe it was the mother who moved the body. That's for sure.
If they don't know who to blame for this crime, then they're just sort of scrambling here.
Yeah, they are just scrambling because there was no one else supposed to be in the forest. This is their problem.
Yeah, I accept that Turning Page is there, but I really don't think he would kill his father for A, for a lack of motive, and B, you're gonna fight a fully trained guard as a kid.
There's no
Well,
chance.
I'll say this: his father probably wouldn't expect it.
Yeah. Also, Turning Page was there, and Royal Order didn't have his armor on. His armor was being found in the forest somewhere, and his blood was near the statue at this point already. So the murder probably happened at the statue, and it might have been accidental. But we don't know why.
This is another red herring from both of them.
Yeah. I mean, that's from Time Page. He didn't say, yes, that, oh no, it's not me, it's not my mother, it's me, but he will. He wasn't the person that will say that. But yeah, you know why he was shocked so much, Athena?
Just tell you what, though, if I'm right that Turning Page is still innocent, why would he think that he might get accused? Because that's what his mother's deeply covering for. It's what, and she got Private Eye involved, and she got Sugar Stamp involved, and maybe also Luna, just to protect him. But why, if he's actually innocent, why did they all think they had to go that far to defend him?
Yeah?
And something about what Sweetie Belle overheard before she lost consciousness. Plot by, I guess, Turning Page to kill his
probably
father?
no. Probably it was between Turning Page and his mother. They were probably talking there.
Okay.
I would
So
assume.
she heard something that made Sweetie think that possibly Turning did it.
Yeah.
Again, it doesn't mean she's right. She may have misheard something, but right now, that's actually the greatest evidence I think so far that he really did do it, and the fact that he was there hiding beside the body.
I mean, they did say that the last thing, this is gonna be the last testimony.
But I still argue that he lacked the means and the motive to take his father down like that.
But in the meantime, let's just play this 3-minute episode.
Oh, go for it.
And I don't know what is inside.
Mr. Detective, sir.
Yes, my dear?
Wait, wasn't this supposed to be one?
Just wondering. All of that with the costumes.
This was the first episode.
Really?
Not the second one.
Necessary? Is it necessary for ponies to wear items of clothing at all, Miss Pamela?
Well, not really, I suppose.
Precisely. But we do it anyway because it's enjoyable. Besides, all of them were simply hanging there, the poor things. Your hard work was just not being given the reverence it deserved.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Detective.
But that's not what you chased me down to ask me, is it? I'd wager you're really here to inquire about my little discovery?
Yes. I heard from Playwright. He said you found a lead on Overall's death?
Indeed I have. Are you curious as to what it is?
I already know. I'm sorry. But I don't believe it. There's no way it's true.
The truth can, in one way, be likened to that of a light at the end of a long tunnel. Quite often, said light can appear with a blinding intensity, making one unwilling to open their eyes upon reaching it. That being said, this is merely a lead, after all. For now.
So, you mean it's just a possibility? One of many?
My dear, there is very little in this world that is impossible. If this was only a possibility, I wouldn't consider it a very valuable lead. One that I intend to pursue.
But sir, this isn't.
So far, this is the best animation coming from this channel.
Yeah?
Miss Pamela, as much as it pains me to say, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. Now I must bid you farewell. My time is precious, and there are a great many things still to do.
Sir, wait!
I cannot stay, my dear. I must be swift. The game is a hoof.
A hoof? Oh my god.
It can't be true. Can it?
I think this should have been in the other case.
Yes, obviously this video clip should not belong attached to this case, but it's here on this playlist at this point because that's when they happen to make it. I think if you carefully research this video is way newer than the other case file.
Yeah, they say it was just extra for the first case. Okay. I thought it was supposed to be in between these. I mean, it could actually happen while we are in the trial. But I don't know if you actually heard the horse fun when he actually said a hoof.
Yeah, I did. And there you go, viewers who are watching this an hour later. A little extra bonus content for you.
No, it had nothing to do with this. But, wait, no. There is one thing that they said that was very much inconclusive to this. If you eliminated all the possibilities, whatever left in the truth. There is still a lot to eliminate here. We still have no idea what happened. And I do believe there's at least one more episode. Let me just go here. See. Oh, yeah, the next is the last one. And I have no idea when we are gonna do that. But,
when you do, that will finally put an end to this case.
yeah. But anyone who is here, come on and check out Elements of Justice. The links are down below. They are amazing. We had some little problems with the audience not moving at all, but they have already put so many effort into this, and you can guess how much time it's doing them to do all this.
I have a question for you, Takashi.
Yes?
When you first reacted to this case, how long ago was that?
No. This is the first time.
No, you started the case. The first episode of this case that you recorded.
Oh, this case.
Because that was years ago, right? But I'm not exactly sure how long.
Let me just check real fast. In the meantime, let me just put some music on.
While you look that up, I'm going to add something to you and to anyone else watching now. When you were watching back then, one of the content creators happened to be in the comments back then.
Yeah, they were.
Something else I recall that was true at the time was the other episodes were not produced yet.
I actually believe that it was actually when they were released.
Even if you weren't halted because of your throat surgery, the other episodes you couldn't react to back then because they weren't out yet. The next one, I vaguely recall was going to come out soon, like within 4 months or so, but it was not out yet. Anyway, what was it? When did you react to the first episode of this case?
I'm trying to get to the end. It's actually really stupid that you can't go to the so it shows at the end. In the last page, there we go. Let's go back from there.
Just curious how long it's taken you to complete this whole story.
A long time. This is case 2, episode 1. Case 1, part 3. Part 2, it should be around here. Ah. Part 1 might have been actually just a video, because I don't see it in the live.
Yeah, maybe you recorded it offline and uploaded it later.
Yeah, but part 2 was actually 2020, Augustus.
Oh man.
So, more than 4 years ago.
Anyway, for those watching right now to this episode, I'm just going to give a reference here. In my time zone, it's September 11th, 2024. Although it's about a couple hours after midnight in my time zone. So
Case 1... Oh, the very first one was October 2019.
Oh my god. Okay, so running close to 5 years here.
Yes.
Okay. For just this one case alone? Oh,
no, that was in the first case. You want the second case?
Yeah, the second case, but the first episode of the second case.
Oh.
When did that occur?
Let me just see. May 2021.
All
3.5 years. And I believe that was yeah, that was out at that time, literally. I think.
Yeah, the series was definitely not complete back then. Anyway, did you want to say something for your outro?
I am definitely gonna say something, but that is gonna be that we are gonna come back tomorrow, at least I am, for reading. Because we are continuing the adventure in the TARDIS. And that is a little bit different. But it might actually go to cases. Who knows?
I guess for this series, you're waiting for a longer period of time off from work?
Yes.
Okay.
Because reading can be solved in 1 or 2 hours. These are, as you can see, we are already at the 3.5 hour mark. So, we need a lot more time.
Yeah, your prediction was pretty close.
And as from what I see here, the last spot is another 2 hours. So, it's gonna be around this time as well. Or even more, depending on how much things are gonna happen.
And how much we pause and talk about it.
Yeah, but I definitely did not see Silver Spoon being the one having cinema. I did not expect that at all. That was a new thing for me as well.
There was no mention of medical training in the show itself, but it was mentioned here about an episode or 2 ago in this case.
Yeah.
And it was mentioned pretty briefly. Like, just what kind of career that her parents have. In fact, there was put more emphasis on the fact that they are pretty neglectful parents.
I can't believe this whole case is actually leading to Diamond Tiara's redemption arc. Because it seems like this is literally happening right before that. I don't know when did that happen. I think that was when the CMC got the cutie mark, right?
Yes. Well, no, that is not the case. The episode they got the cutie mark in is precisely episode 15 of season 5. And mathematically, by the way, that's exactly the midpoint of the entire series.
Oh. But when was Diamond Tiara redeemed?
Episode 18 of season 5.
Ah.
That occurred at the same time. The CMC got their cutie marks, and Diamond Tiara's redemption occurred exactly in the same episode.
Yeah, that's what I said. Okay.
It was one of the rare episodes that was heavily a musical. However, we established the plot of this series here, this case, occurred midway through season 4.
I mean, also that. We don't know when exactly, so...
It's apparently after Twilight Time, at least. I've accounted for everything up to that point.
Yeah, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what actually happened, because I still don't know who the killer is.
And I'm not even entirely certain the victim is dead. I'm starting to lean on the case that he probably is, but I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, we are gonna come back into the part that... oh wait, that was actually a clone.
Well, my primary theory right now here is the true culprit might never been revealed at all, unless it was that other pony we suspected for quite a while ago.
Yeah, it could go anywhere still. It could go anywhere.
But I don't think it's Turnpage, and I don't think it's his mother.
I can 100% see that they're gonna be like, no, I was the one who killed him. No, I was the one.
Yeah, they're gonna reach their hoofs around their back in order to reach the other side here.
And in the way end, it's gonna be like, no, it was none of them. He jumped in to save them from the timber ropes and got impaled on the statue. That's all.
Okay, I can't dismiss that either. That there's no culprit. This was all an accident, and no one knew that. So they're all defending each other, covering for each other, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can't believe that's happening.
That's basically was what happened in the first case with Rainbow Dash, right?
Yeah.
So it's a possibility that it can happen again.
Okay, happened the third time or fourth time.
Well, we'll find out in the next time we get back to this.
Yeah, so thank you everyone for watching, and see you next time wherever it may be. Bye bye!